And looks like we are live. Excelente. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move away from this. And if you're starting from the beginning here, welcome. This is the Captain. And today we are going to be tackling some YouTube poop creation. Now, I've already got some things lined up on the plate, chiefly Velma, but you'll also get a sense of what else I'm doing. I've got some other sources that I've been using, some that I've been working on for months, some that I've just started, and I'll be switching back and forth. But I'll also be giving you some tips if you ever wanted to know how to make a YouTube poop. If you've ever thought about it, then this is a great place to start. So feel free to ask away if you have anything that you wanted to know. And in addition to that, if you want to, offer some input, if you wanted to fool around in the chat, feel free. I'm going to, of course, be managing things, but don't worry about that at all, as long as you know what you're doing. So what I have here is I've got my trusty tool Vegas. One thing I was working on just before I started this was an effect where I'm trying to get, and I have no idea how else to describe it except a human centipede project joke. Although it's not centipedes, it's roaches. But it's going to be just a line of them. Now, I've got some work on this to do. I'll probably be returning to that momentarily. But for now, what I want to do is kind of show you what I'm doing, my process. Now, I have the entire first episode here. It's broken up in my timeline, as you can see. And in this timeline, it's just bits and pieces. Now, I'm not doing the entire episode because, believe it or not, there are some things in this show that don't exactly, don't exactly appeal to me. Hey, what's going on, mister? This sucks. Sup. Great way to start. Sup. All right, so let's kick it off now. I believe that you should be able to see my screen. If not, I'm going to figure out why that is. But let's see here. Should be able to just share my screen. Windows capture. And I don't. Let's see. Here we go. Let's go to Vegas. Face reveal. Yeah, I've actually shown my face a few times in some past videos, but they're from years ago. This is what I look like now. Well, thank you so much for joining Sonic Falcon. So yeah, as I was saying, this is Velma. This is episode 1. This is going to be pieces of it. Now, because YouTube tends to be a little bit, shoot first, ask questions later when it comes to copyrighted content, I'm not going to be showing a lot of audio, but you will get to see some, you will get to hear some things. I'm just going to turn up the audio when it comes time, but I'll show you some things that I'm working on right now, chiefly some sentence mixing, and as I was saying before, I'm trying to get these roaches to line up in a human centipede joke. And that, if that conjures some bad visuals, I am so sorry. Hey yo, what's going down, Freak Fox? Ore Sanju. Thank you, Rare Type. Welcome, Rare Type. Bat Hunter of Devon, welcome. All right, let's kick it off now. So one thing I do want to show you real quick is something that I tend to do with as many of my sources as I can, and I'll show you how you can do this too, especially with YouTube sources, because you're going to love what YouTube can do when it comes to helping you with sentence mixing. So with everything that I like to make a YouTube poop out of, especially when it comes to sentence mixing, I look for a transcript. That's the very first thing I do. And the reason being is because sentence mixing is going to be light years easier when you have a transcript in front of you. So I'll just show you what I have loaded up here. Oh, well, thank you, Rare Type. Hello, I'm here now. Welcome, Color Theory. Hope you enjoy yourself. So let's take a look. So what I've got here is the transcript for episode 1 of Velma. Now I can go through it. Now this is not going to be a timed transcript, but there is something else that I am going to want to show you on YouTube. Now this is, again, if you're really going to want to get into YouTube poop, this is a wonderful tool to have, and that's the ability to do transcripts. Now I have YouTube up here, and it's just populating random videos. I'll just pop this one open real quick, and I'll show you exactly what you can do. Kamen Rider reference. You know, I am so behind when it comes to shows, anime, you name it. Now you can see that most of the videos that you'll find on YouTube, if they don't have transcripts that are created by somebody, the creator, they'll usually have auto transcripts. So what you can do here, you can just click on these three dots here and hit show transcript. Now, what this does is really cool because you actually have the full transcript of the video, but you also have where every word is timed. Like at 8 seconds, it also satisfied a desire by high-level US commanders. In fact, I might as well use this video in my video. I don't know. Side project? I'm thinking that. You know what? Why not? I haven't watched it yet, so it'll probably be a little more off the cuff. Let's do this. So I'm going to download here. And in case you're wondering how I download videos off of YouTube, there are a whole plethora of ways. Bat Her Nerve Demon, I use a transcript for my video too. Awesome. That's incredible. You are going to make your life a lot easier with all of your videos if you're doing a transcript. Now, I use a software called 4K Video Downloader. It is, it's free. There is an activated version that you can pay for. And what that lets you do is it lets you pay for downloading 25 or more videos in a day. I don't usually do that many. I really don't. Usually, if I download 25 or more videos, it's over a span. But if you find you're someone who does that, it's a good thing, and it's a good software. I just am going to download that video, and I might as well work on it at some point. I'll get a nice 1080p rip, and I'm going to create a new folder for it. And let's do this. Save as new folder. I'll just entitle it Rifle. Bada bing. And it's going to go here. So let's return. Now I'm going to kind of turn up some of the audio. I'm going to share with you some of the jokes that have already started on. And if you have some input, feel free. That is Insane Tech. Cheers. Well, thank you, is that dear. I mean, a lot of it's actually pretty simple. OBS, for example, the streaming service, this is free. The downloading software, again, it's free. Remember when Auto Captions 1.0, yeah, oh my gosh, Auto Captions 1.0 transcribed nothing accurate. It was hilarious. Yes, absolutely. I remember that. It was, man, I think that was going all the way back to like 2009, 2008 when YouTube first came up with something like that. Simply incredible. And it's come a long way. I mean, you can rely on it almost now. It'll get some things wrong, but you'll get the gist. Any video converter is pretty good, but it has some issues with certain container types. That's, yeah, anytime video, I've actually tried that a few times, and it has, been some pretty mixed results, to say the least. But I like to use, I've been using 4K Video Downloader for the longest time. You have to download it on your computer, but it doesn't take up a lot of space. Now, anyhow, let's turn up the desktop audio just a tad. And I'm just going to share with you some of the jokes that I've come up with. Mind you, I don't know how loud this is going to be, but you should be able to hear it. This is very first.
My name is Velma Dinkley, and this is my orgy. Sure, normally orgies are about guys struggling with a bone.
And that's first one I've come up with. And then I've come up with this little dandy sentence mix right here that I think encapsulates Velma perfectly.
This show sucks.
Mind you, I have not seen the rest of the series. Maybe it could be redeemed, but episode 1 didn't exactly leave the good taste in my mouth. You can download all day with that one, though, anyone who needs it. Yeah, absolutely. Yo, DJ King, what's happening? All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn down my desktop audio. Again, just don't want YouTube to shoot first and ask questions later. And let's see what we've got. So I've broken everything up into scenes right here. And I'm going to go through the transcript as well. And the transcript doesn't time everything, but I'm pretty much know where everything is. And feel free to pitch in with some ideas. And if you have some questions about YouTube poop in general, if you have questions about anything in general, feel free to ask the old Cap. So let's do this. And by the way, let me know if you can hear this. Remedy this. Fence. Assemble. Write that down. And I'm thinking here, maybe there's an Avengers something or other I could do. That's the beauty of having a transcript, because you get to search the source. So she said assemble. When I heard that, the first thing that I thought of was Avengers. And I want to make, maybe there's a great Avengers reference here. Maybe add something like the IMDb rating to that this show sucks. Oh, hang on. You know what? Yeah. What is the IMDb rating even? Yo, what is up, Mr. Triangle World? Holy smokes, it's 1.4. Popularity. Oh, wow. Goodness, graphics. That is low. 65,000 ratings. Can't hear it. Okay. Yeah, it's very quiet. Okay, good. All right. That's good. I mean, the thing about it is that it's intended, if you do want to, hear it a little bit, I can turn it up a little bit. I'll just be very cautious when I do it, and I'll just turn up the desktop audio just a smidge. There you go. Gotta say, Captain, you look a lot different to your avatar. That didn't used to be the case. My hair was a lot blonder. I didn't have the facial hair. Also, my hair was a little poofy. Hey, Cap, great to see you're still alive after all these years. Been subbed since 2009. Always loved your content. Thank you so much, Paul. Really appreciate it. Paul, it's good to have you back on the... Well, it's good to have you on the stream. And hopefully you love what's coming up. We got something working right now. So let's go to the transcript. I'm going to search. Now, keep in mind, sentence mixing, it's not going to be perfect. You don't always have to look for the word Avenger. I'm going to take a wild stab and say that no one says this word in this transcript. Yep, no one says it. Do they say avenge? Nope. What do they say that's pretty similar? There's a V sound. Let's see. Oh, we have a guest. This happens sometimes. This is little Zoe. Also, I'm really sorry to see that you, even for the sake of YouTube poop, are forcing yourself to go through the horror of watching this disgusting HBO garbage. You know what? So, it was pretty bad, undeniably. I've seen some pretty interesting mixed reactions to it. I've seen some really bad reactions to it. For me, it was just a perfect example of a show that's trying too hard. That's the best way that I can describe it. First live YouTube poop stream I've ever seen. Glad to see you're keeping the dream alive. So, CS188 has done a few live streams. He's done them on an alternate channel, CS188 Creations. You can check them out. He's a wonderful, wonderful creator. Check Revenge. Revenge. You know what? Given the content of the show, it's probably... Yeah, okay. Well, we've got the word revenge. We're voted most revengey in the school yearbook. Velma actually says that. Dang it. Mister, this sucks. Your YouTube poop something or other. Thank you. I've been watching since 2008. My first video was the dexterity of Haruhi Suzumiya. Oh, man. That was... Okay. The dexterity... Hang on, let me just write this down. First things first, revenge. I know exactly where in the show you get that from. It's a scene, the first scene with Velma and her father. You can steal from Adventure. That's another one. Yeah, the dexterity of Haruhi Suzumiya. That was one that I made, I think, in just one night. I just seen the show, and it just really captured me. It was a moment where I really, really was getting newly introduced to some broader anime. Before that, I was into DBZ. I had no idea that a show could be like this. So I made that out of pure love. Unfortunately, little Zoe Just decided to pop in, say hi, and go, oh well. J Reviews, thanks for the heads up. You're welcome. I remember watching some of your old YouTube poops and the Higurashi YouTube poop. Yes, the Higurashi YouTube poop. That one was, that was interesting. I was trying a whole bunch of experimental things in that one, trying some new different jokes. The first minute or so was trying to make a music video. Glad to see this is happening live. Game on 2 was hilarious. Thank you so much, Josuke. Josuke, right? I hope I'm saying that right. Whenever I see S-U-K-E, first thing I think of is it's Japanese, so I have to pronounce it as such. But I'm glad you loved Game On Part 2. That one was a labor of love. And you're welcome. Sorry I'm having trouble with the connection issues. No worries. No worries. If any of you are having connection issues, let me know. I'll find out if it's from my end, and I'll see what I can do about that. And yes. Oh my gosh. I haven't used a schlep joke in such a long time, actually. Thank you for reminding me of that, Bad Hunter. And of course, yes, oh man, that's a wonderful quote. I don't remember which one, but I think it was a Haruhi Suzumi. That was the first thing that I've seen from you. You know, I think it was back in 2008, 2009, when all right, this is still the case today. The YouTube algorithm makes it a little bit different now, but when you entered YouTube poop into the search bar, you usually got some of the same results. You got a poop called What is Spaghetti? You had some deeper cuts, some Walrus Guy, some Garbage Head 3. Very, very classic. But occasionally, they would feed you with a brand new one. And it didn't matter how popular you were sometimes. Sometimes it was just random. But it was, I believe, a Haruhi YouTube poop that made it to the YouTube poop search bar for the very first time for me. If it wasn't, no, actually that was the second one. The first one was Seth's Shabby Scrappy Satire, which, just in case you're not versed, was a Seth MacFarlane series of skits that were done on YouTube for the sake of, I don't know, YouTube having some original content, I guess. All right. First Captain Pan YouTube poop was the first tennis match. Yes. Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto, baby. Alright, let's see here. This is the end. I want to go to where Velma is with her father. Now, it happens after this scene. Now, I didn't include the father scene. I didn't see anything initially. And also, there are some pregnancy jokes in this first episode that are a little bit, well, disturbing. So I kind of omitted that a little bit. And you may have just caught a glimpse of one of the frames there. Pretty sure I found you through the Haruhi Poops 2 and the 10 Minutes with Deeper Cut. Man, brings me back. Higurashi is my favorite video. That's awesome. I hear there's a new season or a newer season or something like that. I have to take a look at that. I really do. You schlep in this one. If I find a way, I will do it. I promise you. Let me just write that down. Melancholy of Haha. Your YouTube hoops got me into the Haruhi Suzumiya franchise, and so thanks. Did you ever watch Disappearance of Yuki Nagato? And if so, what were your thoughts? Now, this might be a little crazy. I actually have not watched... I haven't watched it yet. I really haven't, because when it initially came out, I only had the Japanese dub to go by, but I was introduced to Haruhi through the English dub. The voices were amazing. You have Wendy Lee, Crispin Freeman, fantastic voice for Kyon. So the Japanese voices, I mean, even with the second season, I mean, obviously the second season of Haruhi was, well, aimless, to say the least, but Crispin Freeman was wonderful in his role as Kyon. So his intro to me was, probably the best possible English voice that I could have gotten for any dub of this sort. All right. But yeah, I really do want to check out Disappearance of Yuki. I mean, I'm not sure what the consensus has been. I've heard it's okay aside from that, but maybe it'll yield something that's pretty good. Yes, thank you, Back Hunter. Seth MacFarlane's Cavalcade of Comedy. You're absolutely correct. He did a whole bunch of these. They were no effort, and I think they were just rejected jokes from Family Guy that were, he just decided to package them and put them into YouTube. Those tennis matches were awesome. Wish more people did those. So do I, Jay. So do I. I mean, tennis is wonderful. It's a great way that you can collaborate with other YouTube poop creators and become, more intertwined with new different styles. I mean, you really have to experiment with a lot of different styles and get used to some of the other ways that people will, create. You'll find that if you mix things up a little bit, then you're going to do incredible work and improve on your editing skills. In fact, I always try to make sure that I don't do the same video twice in a row. Yes, tennises are absolutely something you should do. I should poop some Haruhi. I have the series and the movie. Yes, do it. Do it, Mr. This Sucks. GTA poop tennis with deeper cut is goated. Yeah, absolutely. My gosh. We were thinking of doing 40 rounds, and we eventually settled with 20. But 20 rounds, dang. The worst Sonic fan fiction ever, and the SpongeBob poop Freak Fox. Oh, man. So the SpongeBob poop, oh my gosh. That's the only video of mine that had been flagged and rated 18 and older, and for the life of me, I can't figure out why. There's far worse. I actually tried to contest that, and I lost. So, unfortunately, nobody over the age of 18, or nobody under the age of 18 can see it. But I love that the "you piece of shit" Plankton line has become something of a meme. And the worst Sonic fan fiction ever. Oh my god. I'm going to spill the beans on this. Part of what I want to do for this year, I want to look into the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, the 2020 version. I was trying to do that last year before, things got a little complicated, to say the least. Use the Force by Jeff. Yeah, oh my gosh. I'm still, sometimes those poops are so old that I have to remember what my lines there were. I'm just going to take a moment to listen. Yeah. Oh, there's a line. Excuse me? Now, it actually comes a little bit... This is it. This is the line. Yes. Yes, that's exactly what I needed to hear. I'm going to place that right at the beginning here. Excellent. Misana, hey, I use Vegas Pro for my YouTube poops. Yep. I think Vegas Pro is, the most popular because of how easy it is to kind of download. Endless 8. Oh my gosh. I've only watched the Endless 8 once. I think I watched the first couple of Yuki and it just ends with Haruhi as the main character again. Well, I mean, she's probably the best. Well, I don't know. I mean, in the show, in Haruhi, Kion's really the main character. Haruhi is the focal point. And I think, I guess Yuki can be a good focal point character, but I mean, the movie, she was wonderful. But Haruhi was still kind of the focal point because of how much she swam around in Kion's mind. Holy hell, 40 rounds would have died. Oh my gosh. I mean, I couldn't believe how many rounds I couldn't believe we did 20. And each of those rounds was, it wasn't 20 seconds. It was most of the time a full 1 to 2 minutes. YouTube's copyright flag system is an enigma. Tell me about it. I mean, it is what it is. One time I made a Jimmy Neutron YouTube poop. It sucked, and YouTube wouldn't even let me upload it. Okay, so, the phone. Well, listen. Find a way to upload it. Trust me, you will not regret uploading. Even if it sucks, show it. Be proud of it. Be proud of what you made, even if it isn't your best. I don't private any of my videos unless I know for a fact that they're going to get me flagged. But, I mean, the thing is that if you feel a little self-conscious about some of the things that you've made in the past because you don't think it's as expert or the editing is as good as you thought it might have been, don't worry, just keep it up there. Think of it as like a journal. Think of it as you getting better. You can look back on it and there might be some cringe, but at the same time, it will bring back good memories. Remember, you're doing this for fun. It's YouTube poop. We're not making a Roland Emmerich film with the moon crashing into Earth or something like that. Hello and happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, Waldfield. Oh, and for those of you in chat, Waldfield, WLDFLD, he is incredible when it comes to sentence mixing. He's made some of the funniest sentence mixing videos. I mean, I think that Waldfield, you still have them up in your channel. If they are someplace, let me know. Show them off. I mean, oh man, the Winnie the Pooh videos were incredible. Yes, Sonic 2020 is a gold mine. I know. I've seen it a few times. I have some great ideas. Jim Carrey, Revelation. The face she makes in the Excuse Me. Yeah, it's funny. I actually have this face saved right over here because I do intend to use it. Just look at this frame. I can think of a couple things I could do right then and there. Actually, why don't I just take a second? I'm just going to switch this to best to see if there's any blending. Nope, we're good. Let me take a snapshot of that. I'm not going to save it to Drake. Drake was the name of the file that of the YouTube I released last, which was the pooping the charts. Let's go to Velma. Let's see, where is Velma? Didn't I save it to Velma? Did I not save a Velma folder? Oh, well, let's fix that. Let's see, create new folder. I'll just do VEL. Pop it in. Excuse me, face. EMF. Got some mighty good ideas that I could do right there. Such Mixed Emotions is about people making gold out of arguably one of the worst shows in creation. I mean, I think I've made some. I think I've made gold of some pretty, rotten stuff. I mean, I can tell you right now. I mean, even though this is a terrible show, this is probably somebody's first, on their resume. That's the way I look at it. Like with the Seth MacFarlane's Cavalcade of Cartoon Comedy thing, that all looked like Seth MacFarlane. That all looked like his studio. It smelled of his studio. It might have been even Seth himself, and he clearly uses just the same click, copy, and paste assets or something like that. This actually had a lot more effort, so I can respect that. And like I said, it's trying, but it's trying too hard. I can actually see a version of this show where it actually does work. They just didn't do it. All right. Dinner Warrior, what's going down, man? What is going down? All right. Let's see here. Let's go straight back to it. I mean, I can think of a couple of things that I can do with this little snapshot right here. I have some layers here. I'm going to open up my little masking section. Now, I don't know. I've never used Premiere. I've never used Adobe Premiere, but I know that in Photoshop you have a magic wand tool. I've seen it used on Photopea at the very least, but Vegas does not have anything like that. I don't know if Premiere does. What the magic wand tool, for those of you who don't know, the magic wand tool is able to select pieces of a frame, a picture, what have you, and from there you can isolate it, you can warp it, do whatever you want. So let's just say, for example, that I wanted to remove the background. In Photoshop or Photopea, you could just use the magic wand, select it, and then delete it. In Vegas, I actually have to use these little anchors right here. So what I'm doing right here, actually, I'm just going to move this over here real quick so you can see. So what I've done is I've created anchors, and I just have to click on the little check mark to turn on the mask, and that's what you're left with. But I only wanted her mouth in the first place. That's a weird thing to say out of context. All right. Yeah, just like Manta and the MC. Let's go, yo. Oh my gosh, yeah. Dirty Potter. Man, that's going way back. Wow. Man, Dirty Potter. Thank you, Kat. I'm tempted to poop Sonic games. Well, I think Sonic Adventure 1 is really popular because of the voice lines. I'm seeing a Berto egg shot from her mouth. Is it Berto or Birdie? I'm not sure. Egg shot. I'm probably going to do a whole bunch of different things with this alone. You should center the mouth in that excuse of a face. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna populate that mouth all over the face. I think your video with Dash going, "Can I go now?" is the best thing to come from YouTube poop in a long time. Wow. I really appreciate that, Waldfield. Thank you, man. You know, I mean, that was fun because I felt like, you know, so the poop he's referencing is Dash is a dash hole. I mean, there's a whole bunch of, like, the rest of the title I might remind myself perfectly, but that line, "Can I go now?" in that context was great. It was a really old YouTube poop, like when the copyright system was at its most extreme. Oh man, I might find a way to edit. Yeah, I'll tell you right now. I've retweeted it a couple of times on my Twitter. I'll pull it up a little bit later, but the things actually shows you how she is able to overcome some of the copyright systems in YouTube. Now, thankfully, I think with most people on YouTube, if you upload copyrighted content, music, a show, what have you, I think that what they'll do now is they'll just put ads over it. Then you can't get ad revenue. Don't even worry about the ad revenue. But I don't know if that's for everybody. And obviously, they're not going to let you upload, you know, entire streams of movies, like, or something like that. Haruhi versus Nostalgia Critic gags were awesome. Yes, getting Haruhi-fied by Evil Stare. Deeper Cut started that joke. That is one of the best running jokes that I can think of from both of those matches. Phil, you were watching the whole episode. You kind of inspired me to make them after all. Yes. Cavalcade was Seth's Buckley fate. Oh my god. There's a name. Ah, man. So let's do this. I'm going to copy. I'm going to paste. Let's see. Now, this is the frame. So what I want to do here is find the right point. Now, I'm at best, so it should be no problem. I'm just going to take this, what I can, move it. I'm going to stretch this out. See how it sounds. So it stays on that frame for a couple seconds longer. Gives me a couple things that I can do right there. I'm going to put these two layers above. I think this is one of the layers that Nope, I'll just delete that. Copy, paste. I could move the mouths around here. That's a little odd. Did I just delete the wrong thing? No, I couldn't have, could I? Oh, let's fix that. Let's go back a few times. I can always redo. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Perfect. Fixed. And then I'm going to just move the mouth around. There we go. There we go. Do this a couple times. Mouth fly off the face, that's another thing. To me, Velma looks like a Scooby-Doo adult cartoon made by people who don't like Scooby-Doo cartoons. I mean, I feel like, they know what Scooby-Doo is. I mean, everybody does. I grew up with Scooby-Doo. I think they just wanted to take it in a different direction. I mean, it's possible that there are some people who do not know, like, it's possible there are people on that team who don't know what Scooby-Doo is all about, but it's such a big money maker for Warner Brothers. I can't imagine how they could possibly let people on that team work on the show if they've never heard of it. How big can I get with this? Can I? My gosh, it's like an acne commercial. All right. And one right on the nose. Literally on the nose. So this is a little, let's see, go in, yep, the frame stays for a few seconds. I'm going to extend this a little bit more. So let's see. Oh, actually, you know what? This could be a schlep opportunity. I could add the schlepping joke. So we've got egg shot. We got the mouths flying off the face. Oh, there's a lot that I can do here. Show me what that mouth do. I made my own Dirty Potter, but of Danganronpa instead. It's called Dirty Danganronpa. Dirty Danganronpa. I gotta finish playing that game. I started it, and I think I have Xbox and I have the Game Pass. I've got, Danganronpa is one of the games. It's the most recent version of the first iteration. I've got to finish that game. Another channel I've been showing cuts for films. Shows cuts of films for at least 10 seconds between cuts. And at most they just put ads. Music is still hard. Yeah. I mean, it's not like in the past. Like when you had a copyrighted song on, then what they would do is they would mute the entire video. They ended up doing that. So that sucked. That's actually happened to a few of my videos, but thankfully, I think YouTube reversed that, and then those same videos that had been completely muted, they just put ads over them so you can hear the songs again. But it was only the snippets of the song, of course. Ah, yes. Dirty Danganronpa. Dirty Danganronpa is right. So let's see how this sounds and looks. I'm going to just switch this to preview auto. What I'm doing here is I'm just switching between preview and auto and best and full. The reason is because sometimes when I have it on best and full, it'll show what the video will look like in actuality, but sometimes it buckles. It runs a little slower. And I can always go frame by frame with, best full. But in preview, it's a lot easier for me to see what it looks like in motion. There's no buckling. There's no slowdowns. It's probably not to do with the computer. It's probably just because Vegas can sometimes be difficult. So let's see. Yep. I don't know if you saw that. Okay. Okay. So it looks like that. And what I want to do here, let's do this. Let's make each one appear at a time. So I'm going to take the mouths flying off the face to start. And I'm thinking sound effects. Now, with sound effects, let's see. I just look them up on YouTube. Is this the sound that I want? Please. They put an ad on a 1-second video. What is this future? Okay, but it's the sound effect that I wanted. I'll pop open my 4K video downloader, and I don't need the most high quality version of it because the quality usually focuses on the picture quality. I don't need that. Let's go to my folder, add this, and download. Bada bing. We have the pop sound effect. You could try pre-render this section if, only if you have the time. I know what pre-render can do. I just don't know how to do it. All right. How's it going, McDude? How's it going? All right, let's do this. Let's pull up that sound effect. And for that, we're going to go to our folder. It's a video form. I'm just going to separate the two. Perfect. And I'm going to add some audio tracks. So if you've never seen a timeline before in some advanced audio players, I mean, this is what it will look like most of the time. It's pretty uniform across video editing software. Even some of the most basic video editing software will look like this. So this timeline here, as you see this black bar sliding across, when I hit play, it moves at 1 second per second. It will come across this, and then it will play the sound, play the video in accordance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to time it. I have one audio channel that's going to let me layer the sounds here. And what I want to do is layer each and every one of these pop sounds. I want to get the audio clean right there. I can get rid of this. And then let's see, if I'm doing that, I'm going to add some more audio layers. Just a few. Bada bing. Now let's see, we're on, this is number 2, then number 3. And with number 3, we add our final one. I can always reuse these layers too. I can change how loud they are as well. So if I wanted one sound effect on one of these layers to be louder than the others, then all I'd have to do is spike the volume. So here it says 0.0 decibels. Now all of this right now is playing at the volume that it was downloaded at. I did not adjust any volume, but if I wanted to adjust the volume here in the timeline, I can make this louder. I can make it 9.3, and I can make this one softer. So I'll do this. I'll put them in consecutive order. So the louder pop is first, softer pop is last. That's just so you can see what's going on. I feel like I'm too dumb to be here. No, McDude. No, 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 no. You are not too dumb to be here. No, 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 no. Trust me. All of this, it's the kind of thing that if I talk in technical terms, let me know, and I'll try to break down what I'm doing a little bit better. Ultimately, I want to make sure that everybody's kind of on the same page. What software am I using? I am using my friendly neighborhood Vegas, the Magix version, because that was the most recent version at the time. I love you. Well, thank you, Mrs. Hook. All right, first things first. I use Final Cut Pro because I'm a Mac user. They don't have layers like Adobe Premiere in Vegas, but there is a timeline. Oh, I did not know that. Wow. Final Cut doesn't have layers. They got to add that. You have to highlight the section, timeline, top of the says pre-rendered section, and you can render in any format you want. Okay, highlight a section. I'm going to flirt with that off the camera, see how it turns out. But, Mr. This Sucks, if it works, then this could be a huge headache saver. I'll tell you that right now. Thank you. All right, let's see how it sounds. I'm actually going to turn up the desktop audio here, so you can hear it just fine. I want it at normal levels. So you're going to hear what this entire line sounds like. And if it's a little loud, well, that's only going to be the first one.
Excuse me?
Okay, so the first thought is that all of these are too close together. Much too close together. So let's fix that. And I can do a couple things here. I'm going to move this a little further down the path, and I'm going to stretch this. No, I can't stretch it. That's as far as it gets stretched. But that's okay because it's so stretched, that's pretty much just the frame. So here's what I'm going to do to kind of combat this. I've got the little one right here. I'm going to remove this, because that was a video piece, I'm just going to put in the still image piece because, like I said, it was so stretched it's one and the same. But this, I'm not really stretching. I'm just making this frame a little bit longer. And that's going to be needed for what I'm going to do here. So let's move that along. And I want to push each of these just a little. Actually, I'll keep this one right here, but I'll move this one a couple paces, and I'll keep it right here. And then how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 with the top one as well. Move this here. And let's see here. I want to make sure that I elongate these as well, just to the end. So stretch these all the way, because otherwise, if I don't elongate them, what's going to happen? Oh, it stops right here. If I don't, what's going to happen is instead of it looking like this, there's one mouth missing. I want all the mouths to be present in this effect. Dude, last time I seen your face, you looked like you were 12. Well, if I have a shaved face, I'll look 10 years younger. I promise you that. Thank God for facial hair. All right. That face when Velma says, "Excuse me, I think I saw facial hair." I didn't see any facial hair. Did I see facial hair? It's a line. It looks like it's just part of the chin that they're animating there. Holy shit, it's been a while. How's it going, Anime Ain't Real? Oh, facial hair and Captain. Oh, I thought that was present from the get-go. All right, let's see how this sounds now.
Excuse?
Okay, there we go. So the pops are sounding exactly the way I want them to sound. However, I don't like them being different volumes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep them at the same volume, roughly the same volume. I'll keep them at about 2 decibels a piece. It's not too loud. It's not consecutive. Let's see how this sounds instead.
Excuse?
Yes, excellent. And obviously I want to adjust the sound here. I think this is stretched as far as it will go. Let me check it out. Yep. But I can't elongate it, so it'll play the rest of the clip. I don't need to worry about that. There we go. Excellent. And what I'll do next is I'll probably have them flying off the face. And the way that I can do that, first off, I'll need to elongate this a little bit more. Yeah, that's fine. I'll elongate it a little bit more, and then I'm going to elongate these, but I'm also going to split them. So when I split something, look, if I didn't split it, if I tried to drag it, it would take the whole thing with it. I don't want that. I just want this piece right here. But it doesn't just let me move things. It lets me move things in a perfectly, whoops. It lets me edit things in this range of this clip instead of the whole thing. So let's do this. That's the first mouth that I want to fly off. And what I'll do here is I'll just see here, elongate the others, because I want them all to fly off at the same time here. And I'll add another pop sound effect for that. So here's what I'm going to do here. I've got several ways that I can do that. Actually, a pop sound effect might not even be the best one. I can think of another sound effect. If you can think of a good sound effect for when the mouths fly off the face, let me know. Ragusta, hello. How is it going? Now I'm imagining they all appear and they shoot cannonballs. Cannonball sound effect. Or better yet, they fly right at the father. They fly right at the father. I'm thinking explosions. So you have screaming dragon fireworks sounds. There's a mouth fly off the face. Missile sounds. Let's check it out. Let's check out every option when we get to that. Let's see. I want these to fly off at like a breakneck speed. Like they were just exploding right off the face. Shooting even right at the target. So if I want, what I want to do here is I just want to see. Now this mouth right here is, yep, it's the one that's closer to the chin. It's going to just fly off. Now, what I've done here, by the way, I'll just back up. Don't want to get a little too ahead of myself. So what I'm doing here, you know, what I mentioned earlier in the stream, that I can take an anchor and I can make a nice little border around this mouth. So what I'm doing here is there's a little miniature timeline right here, a miniature timeline that I can add edits and change edits to. All I'm doing here is I'm altering the position of the mouth in the frame itself. So right around here is what I have, but I want it to fly off really quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it so it's off screen. Now this is technically an animation of sorts. The mouth is being animated. It's animated to fly right out of the screen, right out of the frame. Let's see how that looks. Okay, I want it to move to fly off a little faster. So right now it's flying to this position, and it's going to arrive there right at, it looks like, if I had to guess, it's the 0.6 mark. I want it to fly off maybe right around here. Let's see how this looks. So it's still visible. If I make it move too quickly, you might not see the mouth as it's moving. So let's see how this looks. Oh. Just a little bit too quick. Okay, we're getting there. A little bit too quick. I'm going to drag it right here. I think this will be it. I'm a perfectionist. What can I say? There we go. Excellente. That's exactly what I want. The Mario head flying sound effect would be good for the lips flying. Well, the Mario head fly... Oh, man. Man. The little airplane noise that it makes. I think that one I could save for something else later in the video. So the Mario head sound. Looking at the dragon firework. Thinking about secrets of the Vidsmiths. Yes. Oh, Rice Snot. What is going down, my man? What is going down? Your Bones videos, I look forward to them every Halloween. I feel they're so important to know what are real bones and what are fake bones. Guys, if you want to survive your Halloweens a little bit easier, you've got to check out Rice Snot's fairly incredible, like really incredible Halloween videos. He does them every year, and his Bones videos as well. The Bones and Therapist Saga, huge fan of. Rice, I'm glad you could join this stream. Welcome, my man. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's go to... actually, let's explore the sound effects, why don't we? So we have a couple of sound effects. You got the missile sound. You've got the... let's see. We've got the Screaming Dragon Works fire sound. There was a sound effect that I was thinking of. The sound effect that I was thinking of was like, it's almost like it's in those Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry cartoons. It's like almost like a pop gun hitting something metal. I'm trying to think of the best way to do it. Patrician taste, you betcha. Oh man, it's the guy who uploads Bones vids twice a year. Well, he uploads Bones vids twice a year, and he also on the alternate channel Ice Snort comes out with Mr. Snow Miser videos, which are incredible because there's, you've got a whole universe to those videos. He's got a whole universe to those videos that I don't even know where to begin. But let's just say it involves the green M&M. That's all I'm going to leave it at. All right. Now let's go to the sound effects. Like a ricochet sound. Yeah, exactly. A ricochet sound. Perfect. I think the gun sound is a ricochet. Yeah. So first let's go off the, what was it called? It was the dragon firework, wasn't it? Let's do this. Dragon firework sound effect. Let's see what that sounds like. I'm seeing fireworks sound effect. I'm seeing quite a few of these. Let's check it out. See what each one sounds like. I'm going with the top one to start. Wow, that's loud. Actually, oof, that took me by surprise. I'm going to turn this down for you guys. Okay, so that's one sound effect. Oh my god, I love you. Why, thank you, School Rumble. School Rumble X, thank you so much for joining. Glad to have you. Hey, Catpan, thought you should know that you're a huge part of my childhood in the golden age of YouTube poops. Love you, man. Thank you so much, Jace. Really appreciate it. We're still in the golden age. There are some incredible creators out there making incredible stuff. The only thing that's changed is YouTube. That's it. You can find incredible YouTube poops out there, and some of the most amazing things are still being done. In fact, like there are some poops that I've seen today that I didn't even think were possible 10 years ago. All right. Let's go to the second fireworks sound effect. Oh. I like that. I like that. It's got pop and a zing. I don't even need to look at the rest. It's not some YouTube poop without some good old ear grape. Man, I felt like almost every YouTube poop from 2008, 2009, some 2010, there was a little bit of that. I mean, even Deeper Cut incorporated it into his videos because of how easy it was. And it was actually really easy to do as well. I mean, I'll actually show you a little bit. I'm not going to keep it in the final product, but if you wanted to really surprise your audience, you just want to shock the audience with a loud sound. I mean, you could turn the volume all the way up, but what you can also do, I'm just going to take a little snippet of this, and I'm not going to play it. Don't worry, for your headphones users, you're going to be fine. But if you ever wanted to, if you have Vegas and you ever wanted to see how you do that, that ear grape effect, as it's called, right click, audio event effects. This is on any version of Vegas, and you want to look for distortion. Add, and then hit OK. And what it will do is it will populate this. Now, all you have to do is spike these all the way up, and you get that sound. And that's how you do it. But what just popped up there? But that's how you do it. Now let's get rid of the evidence. Been watching you for years. Thank you so much, Clint. Thank you so much. Haruhi poops are awesome. Thank you, school. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed that last one I made for Christmas. Your opinion on gamer poops. You know what? I'm assuming you're talking about YouTube poops of, I'm guessing, streamers or gamers or video games, actually. I mean, video games can be a great source. I think it's just going to be about how you use the source. I mean, anything you can make a YouTube poop out of. It's just a matter of what you do with it. And I'll say this. Some of the best YouTube poops, and I mean best YouTube poops that you can ever possibly make, are going to be made from sources that you love. And I mean that because, one, the sources that you watch, like and love to watch, you'll know them a little more inside and out. So you've got maybe already a transcript of what goes in your head. In 2020, I made Mulan starts an OnlyFans, which was a great YouTube poop. But I knew the entire transcript for Mulan because I watched the VHS of Mulan, oh my gosh, so many times when I was young. It was one of my favorite Disney movies when I was younger. So, knew it inside and out. Extremely funny Disney princess movie. All right. It's easy. Plus, it's a leftover. For when YouTube poop was about confusing the audience, it could still be about that. You still have a lot of people who use YouTube poops to confuse and perplex. The effects menu is not showing on this stream. Ooh, interesting. So, if the effects menu isn't showing on the stream, what you want to do is you want to right-click the audio section, and that's, if you look on my screen, it's the red section that has the waves. You'll see add or apply event effects and then choose distortion. All right. Oh, Manslayer. I gotta be honest, I have no idea what Manslayer is or who Manslayer is. Is he a creator or is he someone who is used in sources? You'll have to tell me that. Hello, Capt. Are you planning on going to too many games again this year? I would love to chat a bit. Oh, hello. We have a guest. Hey, Zoe. Are you planning to go to too many games again this year? Would love to chat a bit. I am actually planning. I live, so just in case none of you knew, I live in New Jersey, and Too Many Games was just an hour away from me. So I'll definitely be planning another trip there. And also, when I went with Jimmy and his brother, and I also got to meet some incredible people. I got to meet Schaefer Ellis, and I don't have it within reach right now. But Schaefer Ellis signed a copy of the Shark Tale Game Boy Advance game for me. And I'm going to be treasuring that. Gosh, I wish I could show you to you. I put it in a closet. And by the way, Schaefer Ellis, obviously, you've probably heard the news about him. He's in good health, thank goodness. There is, if you go onto Twitter and you look for the channel, I think it's Best YouTube Poop Moments or something like that. He was obviously the first to break the news, but he's also got a link to a fund that's in support of him. Now, obviously, we've already breached the target, so to say. It's well beyond what the limit or what the target was. But if you're thinking of, donating to support, that's the best way to do it. All right. Title alone just makes me laugh, yeah. No, I mean, we can't see what you're doing when you do the effects in Vegas. Oh, interesting. So let me just check something here. And if I go to audio event effects, this can't be seen. Oh, you can't see it. Well, now, I think I know why that is. Let me try something. Nope. No, you can't see it. Interesting. What happens if I just add distortion? Will the window be apparent? No, it doesn't become apparent. Interesting. I did not know this. This is interesting. Thank you very much, Mr. This Sucks. I'll have to figure that out. Describing what I'm doing is going to be real tricky now, but that's okay. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I'll figure something out. Manslayer was a guy who did game poops. For example, Oblivion, Skyrim, Fallout. He's very funny, but a lot of his jokes haven't aged well. Okay. So in other words, he's made some YouTube poops of those games. Okay, well, I mean, I've made, I think one of my most recent video game poops, not counting the CDIs and the Dash Daniels game, I did make part 1 of part 2 that I plan to complete at some point of Final Fantasy VII, the remake. I think there's a lot that you can do with games. Now, Oblivion, Skyrim, Fallout, Bethesda games, they don't typically have cutscenes. I don't know what his videos are like. I don't know how long ago he made those videos, but a lot of jokes not aging well, that happens a lot. I have a lot of jokes that I wish I could take back, quite honestly, in some of my videos. I'm keeping them up, obviously, because if they're mentioned, I need to I feel like I should bring up that it was a very, very different period on the internet where making that kind of humor was not something you would get called out. It was actually, in many cases, acceptable. But more to the point, if jokes don't age well, I mean, I don't think people are always going to be the same that they were maybe 10 years ago. I have no idea if Manslayer is still making jokes like that. If you're going to make jokes like that, then I guess you gotta work on the framing. I mean, make it funny, but don't make it too tasteless. That's the only thing I can think of right there. Yes, the latest Harvey poop was awesome. Thank you so much. Glad you enjoyed it. Froggy, hey, what's going down, Froggy? All right. Well, let's see. Let's go back to this. Oh, whoops, not this. I want to go back to this. All right, so I want all of these mouths to fly right off, and I've got one going at this speed. Let's get the others. Let's get the others. Now, where was the... Let's see, it was at 0.4. Okay. So 0.4 is where I want to be. And again, I know you can't see this, but don't worry, we're going to be doing quite a lot of things that you will be able to see. But all I'm doing now is I'm moving the mouths off of her face, trying to get them to shoot right off the face. And let's do the last one. Get this one to shoot right over here. They should shoot off at different times. They should shoot off at different times. So I'm going to migrate this over here. Elongate that. Let's see how that looks. That's a hell of a lot better. I just have to extend these a little bit better. Bada bing. I've always loved the Brad Pitt profile from Yakitate, Japan. Yep. Or, as it is in the show, Brad Kid. I actually don't know if his first name's Brad. They just call him Kid. Thought you were doing dual screens. Okay. I love the Final Fantasy VII Remake poop. Thank you, Clint. Glad you did. I am going to be making part 2. Oh, man. I got to show you this. One thing I like to do is whenever I have an idea that I don't have the opportunity to start, write it down, keep it in a folder. The second part of the Final Fantasy YouTube poop is in here. It's just a matter of taking what's on paper and putting it to screen, so to say. And his cat, Cash Caniels, and his Cocker Spaniel, and Ash Ketchum. Yep. Manslayer is actually unique. He cuts up audio and recreates poop-style scenes in the game engine and then records them. Oh, interesting. So he does that kind of like using... Interesting. It sounds like he's using some... if I had to guess, he's either dissecting the game itself or he's using something like Source Filmmaker. I've seen YouTube poops made from Source Filmmaker. Not very many, but dang, okay. So let's do this. Let's return and let's go back to here, see how it looks. Use some preview auto. I'm gonna just go keys. Perfect. All right. Now let's add that sound effect that we downloaded earlier. I think we downloaded it. Oh, we haven't downloaded it yet. Hang on. Now it'll appear. Firework. And I'm going to just shift this over. And it's a little bit longer, so I'm just going to go here. I'm going to remove the... Let's listen to that one more time again, and the sound is a little further down, fewer decibels. You shouldn't be able to be surprised by this. All right. I love that bang. I love it. Let's capture the bang. And we're going to cut. Now, well, I need to take the, let's see, the first mouth flies off here. I'm going to put it right there. First mouth flies off. And because I already have this layer at 2 decibels, I'm going to slightly decrease the volume here. See how it sounds. Okay. And I'm reusing the layers that I used for the pop sound effects here. Right. All right. So that's looking pretty good. Do I want to add something else? No. Don't want to oversaturate. Don't want to overthink. Now let's get a frame of her father. I want those mouths to hit the father. Let me go back to where I pulled this from. I think there's a good frame somewhere here. Oh, this is a gross scene that I really wasn't looking forward to working with. So I initially had to cut. Oh, ooh, hold the phone. Hold the phone. Did I just see a good frame right there? Come on, get there. Look for that frame. Look for it. Oh, yes. There we have it. Okay, if I shift this to best, full, how does it look? That's good. Let's take a snap. Save it as just father face. And we're going to put it right. Let me just switch this back to auto. So here's where I've got the effect lined up initially. I'm going to take this. I'm just going to trim it a little bit so it fits. So now it will cut immediately to the father's face. I'm going to have the mouths fly off right at that face. Right at the face. And then I'm thinking explosions. That's the best thing I can think of. Is it possible in Vegas to overlay the initial launch bang and then the rocket sound in Vegas, or would that have to be edited separately in SoundForge? No, you can overlay. You can overlay the audio. I just don't have it overlaid right now. In fact, the bang sound effects are actually right over Velma's audio here. Yo, Cap, my bad for being late. Hey, no worries, Mikey. No worries. You're good. I write jokes in my notes app on my phone for you Zoomers out there. Well, I'm about to show you something that is even more, well, that is very boomer of me. I actually use a pen and paper. I just find when you write stuff down, it is a lot easier to retain in the head. You do it on a phone, well, actually this is a little secret. I'm using my phone right here for the live stream, so I can't do it on my phone anyway. But this is how I've always done it. I showed you the folder earlier. You should know the dad exploding like an MK fatality. Oh, you should show the MK fatality. Have him explode into 5 rib cages. That sounds like a job for a green screen. What did I miss? So what I'm doing here, Mike, is I'm tackling Velma. And I've gotten some, done a couple of effects so far. I'm going to be doing a little bit more. Going to show you some of my sentence mixing processes here. But for the most part, we're just tackling what is going to be the beginning of this YouTube poop. I made it in time, not really. Hey, what's going down, Humdinger? What is going down? Yes. Hey, not really, but say I did. Hey, you're good. You are good, Hummer of Dings. All right, so psychologically proven that writing it is better. Yes, absolutely. That's why I do it. Now, let's see. MK Fatality green screen. Oh, well, that's just a fatality. Well, I could use that. So I'll put a pin in that. MK Fatality. Actually, let's just search the search results here. Do I? No, finish nothing right there. Actually, Mortal Kombat blood explosion green screen. You know, it always feels like there are explosions in all my vids. Well, I have a lot of blood explosions, but not exactly the Mortal Kombat type. The Mortal Kombat type of blood explosions were very... I'm trying to think of the right word. But it was like chunks. And the chunks were, you know, they were just like little 3D shapes. None of these are that. In fact, typically, I try to avoid, because I'm looking for green screens here, and the reason being is because I'm going to use what's called a chroma key to remove the green. Just like when you let's say you're watching a weather, and you have the person in front of the giant map showing you where all the rain's going to fall. Well, he's actually standing in front of a green screen, and that green is being taken away, and it's being replaced with a weather map, so that you have effects that you can change, graphics that you can change. So all I'm doing here is something very similar. I'm looking for something that I can take the green away from, so that the red, this blood explosion, is there for. However, when it comes to fire, when it comes to blood, green screens can actually be a little bit detrimental. And the reason being is because you can't always perfectly eliminate the green. You're going to be left with some. All right. Tackling Velma. This word choice is appreciated by many, I'm sure. Oh yeah, I am very sure. I need to get off my laptop for a while. See you later. Thank you for joining Color. See you later. Can I see what you got so far? Yes. So what we've got so far, just in case you were late, you get to see it too. That's awesome. Now let me first things first put my audio for this back up. And a lot of this I was working on off stream, but you can get a sense of where things are starting. So what I have first is a very simple sentence mix that isn't complete. I'm going to go places with it some more. Here's what we got to start.
My name is Velma Dinkley, and this is my orgy. Sure, normally orgies are about guys struggling with a bone.
And I might not even use all of that dialogue. That's the thing. When you're making something, it can be art, like pen on paper. It can be a sculpture even. But don't be afraid to alter or even remove something that was part of your initial plan. Sometimes it takes, sometimes leaving something in can actually make things a little bit worse. You don't want to overdo something. And that's the same with YouTube poops as well. So I might not use all of this audio that I've spliced together here. One thing I will use is this line right here, because it is perfect.
This show sucks.
This show sucks. Couldn't have said it better myself. Another thing I was working on that, Another thing that I was working on is a roach scene. Now, I'm guessing that most of you have seen at least parts of, the first episode of Velma. There is a scene very early on where two roaches have sex. And that's the scene right here. You can see the roach is about to approach. Now, I added this third roach in here. I'm going to just have it form a chain. Now, trust me when I say that is one of the least disturbing things that I've seen in this show. I've actually omitted a scene where someone's eyeball falls out. That's just gross to me. I don't want to show that. I don't want to include that. So, roaches having sex, I'll take that over eyeballs. Aren't all YouTube poops these days art? Yeah, that's true. When I say art, I mean more along the lines of, pen on paper, brush on paper, anything like that. That's mandatory to have in the video. You're absolutely right. Oh, God, the roaches. Yes. Oh, God. And you know what the strangest part about that is? Somebody animated that. Somebody animated that, or was told to animate that. Yes. All right. Anyways, back to this. So I want the mouths to strike the face. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to take these three. I'm going to copy them, paste them. And then I'm going to make some changes here because I've copied and pasted them, but they're doing the exact same thing that I had them directed to do right here. I'm going to alter them a little bit. Again, you can't see the box that I've opened up, but all I'm doing here is I'm altering the position from where they start and where they end up. So for this one, for example, you can see the mouth right in the middle of the screen, but that's not where I want it to start on this frame. Where I want it to start is right down here, because then I can move a little forward, and I've moved a little forward in this timeline, and instead of the mouth ending up, you can see that mouth in the top left corner of the preview screen. Instead of it appearing up here, I want it to end up right on the face. Now it's going to end up there, but it's not going to stay there. I'm going to shorten this so that I'm going to add one more frame. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now, I'm also going to take a little bit of a shortcut here. This is going to be really cool. Now, one thing you can do in Vegas is you can copy and paste, obviously, with whether it be audio like audio pieces, whether it be images, whether it be videos. What you can also copy and paste are effects. So what I've done here, what I've done with this mouth and having it animated, that is an effect. That's technically an effect. So what I'm going to do, instead of opening up a window and animating the mouth all over again, I'm just going to copy and, I'm going to copy it, but I'm going to paste. Instead of hitting paste, like you can't see the drop down, but there's an option that says paste event attributes. So now this mouth is doing that, and so is this mouth. And I can make some alterations. I can, for example, if I open it up, I can have the mouth, instead of starting from the same position, I can just adjust the position so it ends up in the same spot, but it starts from a little further south, maybe closer to the bottom of the screen instead of the corner. There we go. I haven't seen any of Velma. Gross. Oh gosh, I am so sorry, the Waffle King. I am so sorry that you had to see that. Actually, what am I saying? You're going to see it anyways. Years down the line, it's probably going to appear in some macros or memes. And they say anime is for perverts. Oh boy. Okay, so speaking of perverted, this actually, there's another scene that I've omitted from this YouTube poop that I'm not going to work with, except maybe in an audio sense. This is a high school show. And what the geniuses behind the show have elected to do is have a scene of naked teenage girls in a shower. Now, they've covered up some of the sensitive parts, so to say, with soap, with hair, creatively, but they are all talking about sex. And I think that in a show where you have, if you're going to make that kind of decision and you're going to make jokes about it, you got to make really funny jokes in order for any of this not just to be pulled off, but to work and just, avoid any kind of controversy. I always think that sometimes the funnier stuff is going to be the less controversial stuff, but if that scene goes on for, several minutes, the girls are naked, they're not clothed at all, and it's not funny. And I have mixed feelings about that because they're attempting jokes. They're attempting like this whole meta explanation of what sex in shows is supposed to be like while the girls are naked. And I have a problem with that. I'm not adding that to any of this video. So, yeah, you can spare yourself that. I don't think that's going to be, I'm actually surprised that that wasn't a controversial point that was brought up in a lot of internet discussions. Yeah, this is like a modern day Ren and Stimpy adult party cartoon, but it wishes it could be as disturbing. Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, I mean, I forgot there was an adult version of Ren and Stimpy. Can we agree that both Velma and APC were bad? Sure. I think that, well, yeah, in Ren and Stimpy, the characters were a little more morally degrading to begin with. Which video editor is this, Rose? This is Magix Vegas. You'll probably hear it called Sony Vegas. This is the Magix version. Maybe this shouldn't have been a Scooby-Doo adaptation. You know what? I said from the beginning, I can see a version of this show where what they're trying to do works. The problem is that the jokes aren't funny. And if the jokes aren't funny, then what you're left with are really terrible characters. In fact, in just about, in a lot of sitcoms, you're going to have terrible characters. I mean, I think that's just a precedent for sitcoms. They're all assholes, but because the show is funny, it gets away with it. And I think a perfect example of that is How I Met Your Mother. Now, there are some episodes that are very funny, but there are also episodes that are not funny. And when they're not funny, the assholes show themselves. So, I mean, Barney Stinson, for example. Barney Stinson is the perfect asshole in that show, but, man, Neil Patrick Harris plays him so perfectly that it's almost impossible to hate him. And he does some morally depraved things in that show, but he pulls it off. If the show, if that wasn't Neil Patrick Harris in that role, then I don't think any of it would have flown. Okay. Any plans for Norville? Norville. Mike B, can I see this specific clip? Only because I don't want YouTube to shoot first, ask questions later. I'm not going to show that scene. All I can say is there are probably some, it's probably on the internet somewhere. It's probably on, maybe it's on YouTube. If you search shower scene Velma, you'll probably find it. There's part in Velma that says, where she says, I'm weird and no one likes me. That's not true. I didn't edit. Where they just took out the knot, and I thought it was funny. Yeah. I mean, some of the most simple edits that you can do, it shows. Sometimes the most basic edits are extremely, extremely funny. Don't think about overcomplicating things sometimes. Yes, Norville's the fake Shaggy character. It just occurred to me that that was the case. I forgot they didn't call him Shaggy. I don't know why, because everyone else is called by their names. Fred, Daphne. Oh, not that one. I mean this one that you're working on. Oh, the specific. Are you talking about the Mike? Are you talking about the clip with the? Are you talking about the shower clip, or are you talking about something else? Help me out. Let's see. See, put the starting position a little further right here so that it's flying off from the right instead of the bottom. Okay. So let's see. I've got the 3 mouths flying from different directions. They are going to hit the face at different times. I don't want them to linger. Why is this one appearing for so long, though? Which one is this? Let's see. It's probably not going to matter how long those mouths last there. So I do want to add something of an explosion. Oops, wrong one. Let's go to our handy dandy YouTube and find something. Like, I want a blue screen explosion. And just for the sake of it, let me just search Mortal Kombat explosion. Let's just see if there's something there. No. Okay. I think, here we go. Blue screen fire explosion. Let's see how that looks. Big explosion. Okay, let's see how big this explosion is. It's very dusty. Very dusty. It's not what I'm looking for. Oh, wait, they had others? Huh. There's a medium explosion. What does this do? Still dusty. And there's probably a small one. Very dusty. No. I want something a little more concrete. Massive blue screen explosion. Well, this one looks like it's a... Okay. Really cool blue screen explosion. Okay. I'll tell you what. I'm going to do a placeholder explosion for the time being, and I'll probably edit the explosion at a later time. I'll just use this one for the time being. I could also see if there's a GIF of the Mortal Kombat explosion that was mentioned before. What the... Oh yeah, I hate autoplay. What the hell is that? How to find chroma key on CapCut? I don't care. I've got Vegas, not CapCut. Really cool blue screen explosion. I want a little bit of a higher quality on this one. 480p is good. And let's return. Here we go. Really cool blue screen explosion, as it is called. The one you're working on now with Velma's mouth. Okay. Let's take a look. So, Mike, this is what I've got so far. Let's see. And work in progress.
Excuse?
Oh. Let's see if I can get it to load a little bit. So you can't... So the mouths are just exploding right off the face and into Velma's father's head. It's a little hard to see because even in preview mode on Vegas, it takes a while for it to render, but once it's rendered, you don't have that problem because when a video is rendering, any of the time it takes for Vegas to properly preview what a video clip looks like, those problems go away. It shows you what it actually resembles. And as Mr. This Sucks had pointed out, there is a way to, if you have Vegas, there is a way to do a mini render. I just don't do that. I never looked up how. All right, so now that we've got the explosion, let's put it on the base level just so we have something to work with. Let's put it right here. Get rid of the audio for this. And this explosion, again, it's just a placeholder explosion, so it's probably not going to be what we have in the final result, but for the most part, it'll work. Now let's enlarge it. Actually, it looks like this one has a black border, so I'm just going to add a mask to get rid of that black border first, so that all we have is blue and the explosion. See how it looks. Okay, didn't look like it changed very much. So, we got the black border there. Video effects. I want to go to my chroma keyer. and apply a pure blue screen. I'm just going to take this, I'm going to drag it onto the effect itself. And this doesn't look very good, but I'm going to fix that right up. And boom. It'll look a lot better now. You can adjust the chroma key here, and I'm going to overlay it over the father on another video frame so that you can see what that all looks like. Just going to make this a little bit bigger. Just a tiny bit. Just going to match the output aspect ratio. Make it a little more. Oh, what's this? Oh, ho. Okay. It looks like my mask is coming to bite me in the ass, but that's okay. I'll just remove the mask. Boom. I would have used link for CGI saying, excuse me. Yes, that is something I do intend to do. I'm actually going to be doing a couple of things with that whole excuse me mouth scene. Earlier, the egg shot from Super Mario Bros. 2, that was suggested. There's going to be a Schlepp scene. We're going to bring Schlepp back. And of course, Link saying, excuse me, there's going to be a lot of that. We got a face reveal from one of the old greats. Welcome, Charza. Welcome, welcome. This thing's got surround sound. Yeah, absolutely correct. So now we have to return to the old sound effect portion of the firework, because the firework sound effect that I downloaded, there was one part of it of the rockets just shooting off, the other was it exploding. Let's find out what that sounded like again. Okay. Let's go to the audio layer. And we want that explosion right here to start right when the first mouth hits the face. Let's just see how. I sped this up a little bit. I squeezed it. No, didn't need that. There we go. All right. Actually, I could think of another sound effect that would also work there. It's a little pop of sorts. Different type of pop. Oh, that's the mask. Make this a little bit bigger so that it starts off. Okay, now the first mouth hits the face right at this point. And that's where I want the explosion to start. Right on the nose. Literally. Actually, what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to overlay these a little bit differently. I want the explosion to happen under the mouths. So that's the thing about Vegas. So all of these layers that you're seeing here, I've got one layer with one of Velma's mouths. I'm actually going to highlight this. So if you look to the left, you'll see the number 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're colored green, yellow, purple, and a cyan blue. So layer number 1 takes precedence over the other layers, which means that if I were to, let's just say I put another video over or another image over, let's just put this back in the timeline. So this scene right here, if I were to just drag this over, this is taking up all of the screen. It doesn't matter what is happening on layer 2, on layer 3, on layer 4. This takes precedence. But if I were to change it up, put this on layer number 2 instead, and then put the explosion on top, the explosion takes precedence. So think of it like stacking. It could be rocks, it can be cups, anything like that. Layer number 1 is going to be the top. That's the first thing that will get seen. And that could be used for almost anything. It could be used for filters. It could be used for images that are superimposed into somebody's hands in a YouTube poop. It could be used for background effects. Well, not background effects. That would you'd use background effects for the lowest possible layer, like a mountain in the background. But that's layers. Layers 101. Onions have layers. YouTube poops have layers. All right. Excuse me in the joke queue as well. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right. So let's go back here. Right around here. Let's see. Excellent. Now, again, going into layers taking precedence. So I have these mouths staying on the screen for a little too long, and you can see them over the explosion. I don't want that to be the case. I want to just shorten this clip. Let's go here. See how that looks now. Okay. And again, the explosion is just a placeholder explosion here, but could keep it if I want, although there is a black border, an annoying black border right here that I've got. Well, you can see a little bit of that chroma key effect. It's not perfect. Now it's perfect. Oh. Caught me by surprise right there. I want to take this. And this is what we've got. Oh, but I want to decrease the volume a tad. And since this is 3 mouths hitting, there should be 3 of these sounds. So let's see how that sounds now. Yep. And let's just shorten this. I want to kind of cut away from this quickly so that I can go to the next joke that we're going to work on. The egg from Super Mario Brothers spitting out of the mouth. All right. What happens then if we poop onions? Well, then your poop has layers. You have way too many layers on. You know what? The Higurashi poop that I made way back in 2010, I think I had 100 layers going on it. At the time, I wasn't all about recycling the layers. I was all about just using a brand new layer for anything that I did. And that made producing the video at the time a little bit longer because there was loading. Keep in mind, this was Vegas 5. Vegas 5 was a lot slower compared to newer versions of Vegas. And the computer that I was using was an old Compaq that I had gotten for Christmas back in 2006. So all that combined made producing the Higurashi poop a really tricky endeavor. It's probably the most, I don't know, even to this day, I think it's the most effort that I've ever poured into one of my videos simply because of all of the effects laid on. I actually had to have a friend of mine produce an effect for me, which was moderately simple, just cutting out something from an image that was very complex and time-consuming because I just wanted to get that part done. I feel like a more base explosion would land a bit stronger in contrast to the size of the mouths that are exploding. I agree with you. Let me see if I can. Let's see. I could pitch shift this. So if I pitch shift, what happens? Let's do -4 for starters. I'm going to mute these layers just to hear what it sounds like. So what I've done, I've taken the explosion and I've shifted it to a lower decibel. So let's see how this explosion sounds now. Nope. Still a little soft. Let's do -10. See how that sounds. Okay. But there's got to be more oomph to it. So it might just be that we have to look for an explosion on YouTube that probably fits what we're looking for. I'll just keep this as is. And I could probably just paste the event effects onto the others as well, so that's all consistent. There we go. It actually does sound a lot more like fireworks than the explosion sound effect that we were using just now. All right. You have way too many layers on. I meant on you. Not sure how to take that. The volume from the explosion might be too high. I agree. Let's lower it a little bit more. Just a few more decibels. Let's reduce them all. Let's see. I have it at negative 6.8 decibels. Before it was on negative 2 decibels. Okay. Nostalgia Critic. Why does it look like Vegas? I forget what one that's from. Back in the day, people online had a harder work ethic. Respect. Thank you very much, Mr. This Sucks. The cringe vine sound. LOL. Yeah, that does a lot better pitch down. Yeah, okay. All right, so we're getting somewhere. Again, we might look for another explosion for this. We'll get to that when we get to that. So let's go to the old Birdo egg. Oh, actually, while I'm doing this, let me just do this real quick. Earlier in the stream, there was mention of the IMDb rating. Let's see if I can... Is there a better shot of this? No, let's just refresh the page and take a print screen of that. Oh, whoops. Now let's do the print screen. And I mentioned Photopea in another earlier, and Photopea is effectively Photoshop, but it's online and browser-based. Photopea, head on right down. Online photo editor. And if I ever wanted to, work on something because I don't own any Adobe products. I don't have any Adobe products. I haven't downloaded anything. Photopea is wonderful because you don't have to download anything. And I know that Adobe tends to take up a lot of space on computers, especially when you're dealing with the full suite sometimes. So if you don't have the space for anything Adobe, Photopea is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Runs like a dream. So in this instance, let's just make a new project. There we go. And I'm working on typically I work on this in Firefox for the sake of simplicity. Actually, you know what? This is going to take too long, so leave. When all else fails, or when all else takes too long, I just use Paint. It's funny. The early days of YouTube, Paint was exactly how people did animated effects. All right, that works. Now let's crop it a little bit. Reduce that. That's good. There we go. Back to basics. Easy as that. Menu, save as, image. It's interesting. In the early days of YouTube Poop, there were, you didn't have Windows 10, you didn't have Windows 8. Usually people either had XP or Windows Vista. If you were using Paint, the Vista version of Paint, whenever you saved something, it made it darker, which was annoying for a lot of very early YouTube Poop creations, because if it was made darker, then it ruined the effect of what you were trying to accomplish. In fact, some of my first, I made 4 YouTube Poops that were entirely Windows Movie Maker based back in 2007 when I started. You can see that for yourself. You can see when the screen gets a lot dark, or when the image gets a lot darker. That's because I had actually just taken something in Paint. And this was for everybody, but the XP version did not do this. So you could always tell who was using Windows XP and who was using Windows Vista. Saving. Excelente. Don't need to do anything else there. I got sound waves of great explosions if you want them. I can link you in Patreon. Yeah, sure. Send it to me on Patreon. Go right ahead, Gelstrom. Yep. You know whatever happened to Quibi Jibby? I really do not know. I loved what he made, though. I mean, he had probably some of the best YouTube poops with plots at the time, which, you see more of those today. But very early on, YouTube poop went from being, in many cases, very plot focused. Like, very often when you saw somebody create a brand new YouTube poop, there was a story that took a little bit of a dip as we entered 2008, 2009, and then Quibi Jibby came along, and all of his YouTube poops had plots to them, and they were coherent plots, very funny as well. And you should definitely check out his videos. They have aged wonderfully. They're still funny as ever. Any place for G major? I don't think I've ever used G major in any of my videos. I don't even know how to do that. Easy GIF. I love IMG and PhotoP are my go-tos. Dang right. Yeah, if it's free and it's used by experts, use it. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but experts have used it. Back in 09 and 20 and 10, it was exceedingly rare. Yes. Waxinator was a jam back then. Oh yeah, Waxinator. So Waxinator, I think, my gosh, he made this one Stromboli. It was a Stromboli YouTube poop, and it was probably keep in mind at the time there was a meme called Ouija, which was it was like a Super Nintendo version of Mario is missing, and the main character was Luigi, but his sprite was very off. And that became a meme. It became something called Ouija. So that was very popular in YouTube poop. In fact, Deepercut actually used it a lot in his late 07, early 08 YouTube poops. Now, I also used it in some of my YouTube poops, especially in the first Spy Kids YouTube poop from May 2008. It became something of an overused joke, though, and anyone who really used it then probably, was seeing something that, and keep in mind, when I say overused, I mean in the context of the more tightly knit YouTube poop community. A lot of people were still finding Ouija funny, but Waxinator, when he used Ouija, it actually was funny. It was actually, my gosh, his YouTube poops were incredible. A lot of effort put into them, and he actually took assets that were from way back when. I'm sure that many of you remember Peanut Butter Jelly Time from the early 2000s. He actually had the dancing banana in some of his YouTube poops. They were really well made, and his sentence mixing was also really good. Oh man, he did a Gaston poop where not LeFou, but Belle's father was doing a rave. That was extremely good. Gaston wants Taco Bell, something along those lines. Man, he anything can be timeless. If someone tells you something is overused, I mean, don't always abide by that. Just focus on making what you think is funny. Really do that, because if you focus so much on what other people are going to think, you're going to lose a lot of the love that you have for anything that you're doing. So don't worry all the time about what other people think. And I think Waxinator, he wasn't really tightly knit in the inner circle of YouTube, so to say. And when I mean the inner circle, I mean you had the website at the time, YouTube Poop, where people would commune and talk, and they would discuss everything, share their own poops. Not everybody went there, though. Waxinator, I don't think he made a lot of posts on there, but at the time, his poops probably weren't seen as being very good, but they were really good, and I think that the timelessness speaks for itself. Okay. Man. All right, I was a huge fan of S-Gonk. And S-Gonk, man, I've really got to rewatch. Mario is missing a DOS version. Yeah, that's right. There was a DOS version as well. The Sky had a Ouija. Oh my gosh. That, I think, is probably the most popular version of Ouija. That's also where Mario and Yoshi came. Yeah. YouTube Super Show with Dr. Rabbit. Santa with Guns. Oh man, Santa with Guns. Oh man. I'm gushing right now because Santa with Guns, I remember he was, I think, I'm just saving this real quick. He made a lot of wonderful SpongeBob YouTube poops. And I think that at the time he didn't go with Santa with Guns. Now, I could be mixing up two very different creators here, but he went by, at the time, Cortez 3000. Cortez spelled with a K. And he made the Fry Cook Gay games, and he made this really popular Midnight Shift one. But the Fry Cook Gay games one, that one really took off in August of 2008. It was either August, it was in that summer, I think it was July. All right, Birdo Egg Super Mario Brothers 2. There we go. This is what I'm after. Come on, give it to me now. Take your time. There we go. Save image as. And oh, this is beautiful because I can use chroma key and masking on this. It's going to look great. It's going to look great. Backup plus. And I'm going to go to Velma. Just call this egg. With guns too, yes. Hello, Vortexio3. Belated hello. How's it going, man? Oh, man. Oh, the Swedish Dork. Yes. Swedish Dork. Oh, man. Actually, the Swedish Dork, I think he did everything by Microsoft Paint, but the Swedish Dork actually was the first to popularize the joke where anything that Ouija saw turned into a head of his. He did incredible things with simple Microsoft Paint animation. I think he's a pioneer that him and I Am the Gang, the Swedish Dork and I Am the Gang, two incredible creators. And this is, again, 2008, late 2007, going into some of 2009. All right, yes. If there's a YouTube boot documentary, I would want you to narrate it. Well, there is actually a documentary of YouTube boot being created. I was actually in an interview by a couple of filmmakers. Now, that was 2021 when they interviewed me. I know that, I think it's still in production. I have to check. Is Santa with Guns the same person as Santa with Teeth? Yes, I'm pretty confident. I think all they've done is they've changed the name. Just a slight bit. Cortez 3000, yes. Right. They are found. So, all right, Galestrom, thank you very much for sending the waves. Oh, man, I forgot about the YouTube poop forums. Just now finding out it's gone. I mean, if you went onto the YouTube, like they do have an archive of the YouTube poop forums. At the time, though, it was called YouTube. They just dropped the poop because they felt like the community was become less poop-centric. It was getting into more media-centric. Like there was a lot of talk about video games, shows, everything. And poops were still there. It was just off on the back burner, but I still felt like it should have still been YouTube poop. It should have been all about YouTube poops still. But you'll find some probably really good poops if you look. There was a showroom that people had. All right. Man, the Ouija virus. Yes, correct. He was simple but incredibly creative. Oh man, I'm like a I'm a pariah of history there. I mean, I wasn't there from the beginning, but I was there closer to the beginning. Like 2007 is when I really started getting into YouTube poop, but the first one I ever saw wasn't made by any of the big creators at the time. It was actually made by a Potter Puppet Pals creator. So eventually I did discover Walrus Guy, and at the time Garbage Head 3. In fact, my first video was actually inspired by Garbage Head 3. And not Walrus Guy, but you know, Walrus Guy and Deeper Cut did become more of my inspiration at the time. But there's a lot of wonderful videos that were made during that span that unfortunately don't exist anymore because maybe the creators shut down their channel, maybe they just deleted them because they were interested in doing other things with their YouTube poop channels. It's unfortunate. I'm hoping that there are some YouTube poops that were around back in 2007. Man, that was a year for YouTube poop, 2007. That can still be found sometime. So here we go. We've got the Birdo egg. Now let's do the old copy pasta. I'm going to take this, take that. And I'm going to, let's see. This is what it looks like before.
Excuse?
Still doing that, but I want the bird egg to shoot out. I could probably do multiple bird eggs here. Is it bird or is it birdo? Yeah, I've got to remember that. Okay, let's do this. We got to shrink it so that it can fit in the mouth, but the mouth is pointing at an angle, so I want to adjust the angle here. Now what we can also do is have the egg kind of being squeezed out of the mouth. It almost like vibrating, and just eventually it's able to fit through that mouth of hers. So let's see. This is what it looks like before. You've got the teeth here, which, let's see. The teeth are white, so it actually makes it interesting to work with. So let's do this. I've already got the image. I'm going to copy and paste. Man, there was a huge issue with channels getting taken down or closed or hacked. Yeah, that was a big problem back then. Yeah, I can't believe every few years Walrus Guy will come back and make a quick video or two. I mean, Walrus Guy, I don't know him personally, but I do follow him on Twitter. I think he's working for a major animation studio, or at least doing some things with major animation studios. So given that he's used his Twitter account for both his animation and what he thinks about it, as well as YouTube poop, I think that he is, he's going to post something every now and again, and he's still like, oh man, the recent video of his about the steak jokes, I rewatch that very often. I think that the gruesome twosome clip with the dog is a brilliant edit. But he will come back and occasionally post something. Grover teaches YouTube poop. Oh man, that was another one. Man, sometimes finding older YouTube poops is a little like archaeology. It is. I think thankfully the Internet Archive may have uncovered some that were deleted. Now, if there is another archive that works, that's great. But the Internet Archive, I've found, has been a pretty good go-to for a lot of videos that on actual YouTube do not exist anymore. Now, what I'm doing, by the way, here is I am actually creating an anchor frame right around Velma's mouth. I'm cutting out the teeth here, just cutting out the teeth, because I want the egg to make its way out of the mouth little by little. Here we go. Remove the mask, and I've double layered this so that the egg can go right here. Oh, whoops. I don't want a positive mask. I want a negative mask. That's what I need here. Mode and negative. There we go. So now we have something that looks a lot better, and I can adjust the egg accordingly. And let's see, let's see, how do I want to do this? I think the best way to do this is to inch by inch expand the mouth so that the egg comes more into focus. And then eventually I want to take that egg and put it on this top layer so it comes out a lot easier. Okay. I think you should out the Birdo sound. Yeah, the Birdo sound for sure. I'll be using that for sure. Man, I have memories of the kind of arguments that the egg is shooter called Ostro, the ostrich Birdo. Other claim the reverse. I have no idea. Birdo it is. Birdo it is. Okay. And oh, Mark 3611. Yeah. Oh man, Mark. I think Mark pivoted from making YouTube poops to Minecraft Let's Plays. Let's Plays at the time were big on YouTube because they were trying to, focus more on gaming back in 2011, 2012-ish. Orpheus for the win. Man. Orpheus, you know what? Oh, man. Orpheus for the win. This would be his jam. This would be his jam because his Skooks videos, man, they were great and quotable too. The frozen in there line and swoos right in. Those are legendary quotes right there. This would be his jam. I don't know where he is right now. Maybe he'll come back. I mean, I've seen people come back lately. I think that the pandemic actually awakened quite a few things. Dr. BJ, the most offensive pooper. I don't think I've ever seen Dr. BJ's stuff. I mean, his name sounds offensive, but all right, so let's do this. I'm going to have, this is what we got so far. I want the egg to really be present here, but I also want it to be evident that it's shaking in the mouth to start. So how long do I want this for? Right here, right, that's good. I want this for this much. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this egg shaken. Shaken. I want it to be evident that there's something in the mouth trying to get out. Almost like Kirby when it eats something. See how this looks. Yes, good start. And you'll see where this is going soon enough. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll back the mouth mask just a smidge. So before it was cutting out the teeth, now I want it to cut out the lips. So I'm going to move these, and you'll see this, like, you can't see the window that I have open, but you should be able to see this in real time, hopefully. Actually, let me put this here. Yeah. So if you look at the mouth, what is happening here, what I'm doing is I'm taking the anchor points that I created to cut out the teeth, and I'm moving them to the edges of her mouth now. The reason being is because I want the egg to slowly come out of the mouth. Well, not slowly. It's going to be a very jagged effect. Whoa. It's going to be a very jagged effect. But that effect will be it's going to be one of those things where once you see it, it'll make sense. Although I don't think anything, not everything's going to make sense with YouTube poop, of course. Just going to make a quick adjustment, the top of the mouth. I want to expose the tangents here. Anchor, please. There we go. There we go. And then I want the position of this egg to change. Now, I still want it to shake, but I'm going to have it come out just a little bit more. Let's see. Oh, and we have a little bit of a border here that's still existing from that. So let me fix this. That shouldn't be too hard. All I have to do is, there we go. Excelente. Yeah, I want the egg to come out, and I want it to jitter. Almost like she's struggling to spit it out. How long do I want this for? How long? That's good. Splice away. Oh, that is the pog face. You're right, Charizard. That is the pog face. Oh my god. Why is Velma angrily pogging? My gosh. Alright. The Skook series is almost 10 years old, I believe. It was... I think... correct me if I'm wrong, I'd have to look this up. I think his first Skooks video came from 09 or 10. One of those years. If it wasn't, it was 2011. Okay. Dude, what the fuck? You're so handsome. Oh, thank you, Darian. Thank you very much. It's the shirt, I promise you. Excelente, indeed. He's got a hot Indian wife, of course. I'm gonna tell my wife or that someone thinks she's hot. Of course, she is hot. What am I saying? She doesn't always need to be told that. She just is. And she knows it. Okay. We're going to do this. And I'm going to just move this here so I know how much the egg is moving. I think that, let's see. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's what I want to see, and that's just a matter of copying, pasting the anchors. Gosh darn, I wish you could see this window. I wish you could see this window right here. Okay, now let's see how this looks. See how it looks all together. I want to, let's see, the audio. I've still got that elongated audio here. I'm just going to make a quick change. I am going to copy and I'm going to reverse that audio clip. And then I'm going to copy and paste it so that it's a more elongated sound, just trying to manufacture that elongated sound right there, and that'll probably take a while because this file that I'm using is not the Velma show spliced into pieces. That this is one file. This is like one episode of Velma. So when I reverse something, it's probably going to take its jolly little time to complete the reverse effect. There we go. No, my wife does not have any kind of online presence. I mean, most that she'll have obviously is an Instagram, but we're kind of keeping things. I'm going to keep that on the down low, unless she walks in and decides that she wants to just see the stream herself. Lower the pitch. Well, let's just see how it sounds first. Okay, so there we go. That's the sound. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Perfecto. Okay. So let's go to the next series. And now what I'm going to do, I think I can delete this at this point. Just have the egg be right there. Might as well have it be a little bit bigger now, just a little bit bigger to complete the effect of it just coming out of her mouth. Well, maybe not. Okay, let's go back a few strides here. I want to make that egg bigger for sure. So I'm just going to keep that image up there. Just make the egg bigger for sure so that it's almost looks like it's just coming out like that. And then I'm going to go back to the anchors on the mouth. I'm just going to see if I can stretch them out a little bit more on the right side. Like so. Like there are parts of the mouth that might still be there. There we go. Although the black outline on this egg is very thick, it works for this. Now, let's see here. Almost like an ambulance. And again, applying the very same type of effect. I want the egg to kind of shake itself loose in the mouth. Let's see how... Oh, well. Okay, that's something that I need to fix real quick. Just that mouth height. Right there. Now that looks a lot better. That looks a lot better. Now, I've elongated. How long do I want this one to be for? Hang on, let me just copy and paste that some more. Make it a little bit longer. Now, let's do this. Let's do this. I want to just copy that. Let's just listen to this one more time. One more time. Make this just a slightly bit longer because the egg was forcing its way out of the mouth. Now it's becoming evident. I just want to stretch it just a small bit more here. And then let's go back to the egg's effects. Again, just doing the same exact thing that I did before. Copying and pasting the anchor points so that when I played again, because what it was doing before when I was playing through this small scene right here is the egg was stationary. It wasn't moving. But now it's going to move. It's just going to tremble like that. And now what I want is for her to complete what she was saying. Excuse me. So let's take this. Let's see what I can do here. Oh my gosh. This sounds so cursed. I love it. Okay. My gosh, that is cursed. All right. Now then, I want to take this. So the egg will have shot out of the mouth at this point. So let's make it happen. Destroy your father's face a little bit more, why don't we? So this is going to be another animated effect, just getting the egg from point A to point B. For that, let's make the egg just a small bit larger. And then I'm going to, let's see, how fast do I want this egg to go? Maybe the same speed that the mouths went when they flew off. Gotta get the trajectory right, make the egg look like it's moving in a... Oh, hello, what's this? Ah, well, we've got a border. Not anymore. Okay, actually, this might help us out a little bit. All right, so the egg is... It's going straight. And that's perfect. I mean, the way that her mouth retracts, it's almost like when you fire a gun, there's going to be some force pulling it back. Here you got the force of the egg shooting out of her mouth, pulling it back into place. It's perfect. It's exactly what we want, like a slingshot. But that's not straight. That is not straight, so let's fix that. It's where the egg ends up that we need to change. If we make it end up a little further south, or maybe, or just maybe we could alter the angle of the egg as it flies. Yeah, perfect. Oh man. Don't know if you could see this, but what we have here, instead of the angle flying straight, it's flying almost at an arc now. It's very faint, but let's see what it looks like at actual speed. There we go. That's nice. That's nice. I like it. How's it going outside? 998. Okay. I'll just scale for proportion. Now, here's what I want. We just destroyed the father's face with explosions on that last bit. So, going back to the father's face, let's make it look like it's been impacted by the explosions. Nothing gross, just, I don't know, soot or something. For that, I need to... Actually, there might be something I can do here that's actually pretty simple. I'm going to copy and paste this layer here. I'm going to zoom in on the face. I want to focus exclusively on the face. I'm going to make some small masks on it, but I'm going to give these masks a little bit of a soft border. Now, what I mean by that, so let's see if I can animate this to the best of my ability, or not animate, but draw it out. So whenever you do any kind of masking work in Vegas, it's going to be a hard cut. It's almost like the edge of a cliff, but with a softened border. It's almost like you're smudging the edges, and you'll see what I mean in just a second. So let's do, first things first, let's focus on making the masks. And these are just going to be some very simple, very small circles. And what I'm going to do, there we go, very small circles, just like that. And we can, let's see how they look. It's 4 circles that look like that. Perfect. Excellent. Wonderful. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add an effect to this layer right here. Remember what I said earlier, that the effects that you add, like the layers rather, the layers take precedence. So this is going to appear on top of the face. Now, Vegas has a ton of coloring effects. In fact, I think that Vegas tends to be used by professional editors who really like it when there is almost like a tone to the color. So what I want, this is going to be a little tricky to find. See, I'm going to have to search my arsenal. Keep in mind, I don't even think about those professional bits. Oh, night. There we go. I just think about how this can make everything look good. Yeah, there we go. So next, I'm going to reduce the opacity of this, like so. And then, what I was saying about the borders with the masking. So let's see how this looks. Hopefully, it looks good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feather. I'm going to kind of like smudge the borders a little bit. And let's see how that looks. Actually, it should be looking like something. Ah, I see. It's only working on one, but I want it to work on all of them. So let's select them all. And then, you can only feather one at a time. Well, let's feather one at a time then. So let's start with the largest one, the one that's right above his right eyelid. We're going to start with that. So what I'm going to try and do here is add a feathering effect. Let's see. Make those borders. There we go. There we go. So you can see the difference, right? So I'm just going to reduce it to 0 to show you what it looked like before. And then add the effect. It looks like that. So it almost looks like, when soot or something is on, there's a part of it that's very dark that's closer to the center. But on the outside, it's going to soften a little bit more. Almost like a campfire. Like the entire area is not going to be covered in ash. There's a rim on the outside of that campfire that is going to have just speckles of ash. And the further away that you go from it, the softer those ash speckles become. So that's what I'm doing here. Let's go to, there we go. I think that's good. So just like that. Tennis match versus deeper cut. That's how I found out about you. That was 2009-ish, I believed. Yes, that was a, man, the 2009 tennis, that was the superhero one. I really, we were planning on doing 40 rounds on that one again. And what ended up happening is we just settled on 8, but they were 8 wonderful. What was it, 8 or 12? Shoot. I lost track. The Grand Theft Auto tennis was 20 rounds. I think that the superhero and supervillain tennis was 8 or 12. I think it was 8. Could be wrong. But we just decided to stop there because as we were completing everything, I mean, keep in mind, at the time, Deepak and I were still in high school, and by the time the final round had gotten uploaded, I had uploaded the quote-unquote final round 12. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Yes. So by the time the 12th round came out, it was September, and that meant that there was going to be some, you can't focus on two things at once sometimes, especially in high school. And I think that at the time, I was in my junior year of high school, if I remember right. Let's see, 2009. No, what am I saying? It was my senior year of high school. So I was taking some AP classes. I don't know what Deepak was taking, but high school is high school, so that means you gotta work your ass off. And Joker's saying this is the end of, and yeah. Oh man. Oh, hold the phone. Shoot. There's actually something I think I want to show you on stream since we're talking about that tennis. Wand Chop, who was an animator who, okay, let's see, I think it was 2013. But Wand Chop was an animator. He did a lot of pretty cool looking animations. He helped Mr. Simon with his Gotta Poop Fast Sonic series in 2013. So let's see if I can find this. Wand Chop even got surround sound. Is it still up there? Has someone re-uploaded it? Yes. Yes. Thank goodness. I loved this. Not the ad. Why? Hold on. I don't even... Hang on. I don't even think it's showing. Let me fix that. Well, now the screen's black, but you know what? See if I can just go right back to this. But look up Wand Chop even got surround sound. That's where that was coming from. Look it up and you can see for yourself. It's a great animation. Has that Haruhi face joke at the end. First stream. Just getting the kinks out of the way, learning as I go along. Speaking of, oh, holy smokes. We only have 30 minutes left. All right, I'll try to make up the time that I can. All right. Yeah, that Digimon Frontier. That's where it came from. Why did the Digimon Frontiers theme become the rape theme anyway? I'm not saying it doesn't feel right. So, At the time when it was 2009, I was thinking of all sorts of ideas for YouTube poops. I did think about another Digimon YouTube poop, but when I was looking at all of the different variants of Digimon that there were, because keep in mind, I did not know anything about the other Digimon shows that were out until I started working on my very first Digimon poop in 2008. So I was actually listening to the opening themes of them, and the opening theme for Digimon Frontiers is kick ass. And that part in the theme just, it's a sound that I don't know, it just feels so ethereal. It doesn't fit in with the rest of the theme, which is also kick ass, but it just, here's this kick ass pop theme, and now you've got this chanting. And why did I add it to the rape, make it the rape theme, so to say? I really don't know. I don't know. It's just one of those things that, when you do it, it feels right. There we go. All right. But yeah, when you get the chance, look up Even Got Surround Sound Wand Chop. Now let's work on the other. Let's work on these other ones. Let's take this and soften that up. You should teach a class on this because you're explaining it far better than I ever could. Well, thank you very much. I'm doing what I can with what I got. Obviously, I can't show the windows that I have open all the time, but I can, describe it as good as I can. That's something at least I'm thinking pretty good. I'm pretty good at. All right, now back to that. We're going to do the same thing that we did with the other one. We're just going to soften the edges. That's a little too soft. Yeah, that's good. So that one was over the left, his left eyebrow. Or the right eyebrow, I should say. Same thing with numero trace. And finally, numero quattro. Numero quattro. There we go. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to add some battle bruises. Let's just call them battle bruises. Maybe only need one battle bruise here. So let's do this. By battle bruise, I mean like sometimes when you trip, you land on asphalt and you scrape your knee. Like it's not an open cut, but you can see where the red is. So that's what I mean by battle bruise here. So let's change this. I'm not going to do it on every one of these soot things, but I am going to actually no. Let's make a brand new mask for that. So let's delete these masks. Get rid of them. Hightail it, you guys. Get rid of these masks. Add a brand new mask. Actually, let's select all. That should do it. There we go. All right. Now let's mask it. And yes, the preview layer shows it being very dark. Don't worry about that. That's going to go away. So let's create the brand new anchor points. This I'm going to create right around the nose because the explosions happened, kind of on that part. So right on the nose. Literally right on the nose. So you can see that black splotch right there. Almost looks like a backwards L. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to remove the black. So it looks like there's nothing there, but really that's just a cutout layer that's on top. And I'm going to add a red one. Let's see. I'm going to go to color corrector, red midtones. Let's see how that looks. Actually, you know what? Might be better to make it black and red so that, might be better to make it black and red so that it can actually look like a bruise, because the skin is brown. So if the skin is brown, it's got to be a pretty deep red for it to show up. Let's see. Both. Let's feather that out real quick. There we go. And then I'm just going to duplicate that layer. And I'm going to make this red, but I'm going to shrink it. Just going to shrink it a little bit. Oh wait, no, that's expanding. I'm going to shrink it here. That way I can put it inside of that black splotch. And what we're going to do here is make it red. There we go. Let's add some battle scars. What are some good red color effects? I'm thinking that, there are some good ways to do this. Sheer, probably moving a little too further down. Oh wait. Yeah, it's the thing. Vegas has so many effects that I have not even used once. Max saturation. This could be of good use. How does it look? Add to hue. No. Doesn't do a damn thing. Okay. Scrap that. Let's see what else we've got. Am I going to stream again anytime soon? You know what? Yeah, definitely. It's great having you all here. It really is. I get to show you a little bit of my trade secrets, or not so secret stuff, and you get to see how I do things. You get to poke around inside my brain, and in addition, you get to see a little bit of what I'm working on. How's it going, Ernest? How is it going? Almost soot-like. Exactly. Almost soot-like. All right. Oops. Let's pull up. Okay, there's an effect called More Red. Come on. Give me what I want here. You know what? That ain't going to cut it. So there is an effect that I can use a little closer. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make this less opaque. I'm going to try to find that completely, yeah, red only. And I can always soften it. And why ain't... There we go. There we go. So you can see a little bit of that red now. You can see a little bit of that red. Now, I'm pretty confident that if I reduce the feather on it, it'll come in a little bit easier. So let's reduce the feather, see how it looks. Yes. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Oh, but that's a little less. Yeah. Excellent. Again, it's very soft. It's a very deep red. And you know what? One thing I do want to add, you don't have to do this in a lot of the YouTube poops you make. Keep in mind that the only reason I'm doing it is because it just feels right to me. YouTube poop is not about trying to make something look as perfect as possible. It's trying to make something that looks right to you. And taking those extra seconds, sometimes it's, otherwise it's just going to linger in the back of your head. I've made so many videos of mine that I wish that I could go back and fix, so to say. And very often when I try to rewatch them, sometimes I'll just skip over those parts that I want to fix because I can't stand to look at them. And you may feel that way too. That's okay. It's natural. It means that you have this desire to want to improve, and that's good. It really is. So if you find that what I'm doing is maybe a little bit much, that's okay. You don't have to do it yourself. You can just leave the face as is, uncovered, completely, clean here. So now we've got a face. It looks nice. That's the way I want it to look. Let's take that Birdo egg and put it on top. My gosh, he is annoyed as all hell about what's about to happen to him. Now that raises an interesting question. Let me just look back at the notes that I took from your guys' ideas. You've got fly out face, Mario head sound, egg shot. So in comedy, there is a rule of threes. So sometimes when you hear a joke, for example, they're going to be like, what's the best way to describe it? So sometimes when you tell a joke, all right, I'm going to tell it. This is going to be a really cringe joke because it's a Chuck Norris joke, but I'm going to tell it in ways to kind of illustrate the point. So Jesus, Buddha, and Chuck Norris appear at the heavenly gates, and St. Paul says, "One of you is deserving of the throne of God. I want you to go over why I should give this throne to you." Jesus is first. "I am a holy man who sacrificed myself for everyone's sins." Buddha is next, and he says, I taught people to live humbly." And Chuck Norris's turn, he goes up and he says, "You're sitting in my seat." Now, that joke is told in what's called a rule of three. Chuck was, in this case, that Chuck line was the third, so-called the third voice here. Why am I telling you this? Because I'm thinking of adding something else to this to explode on his face. Jokes are going to be a lot better when, like in this case, I want 3 different instances of things flying out at him. I think that's going to be a very funny thing. And in addition, if something could be extremely, extremely out there as far as flying off, maybe Velma's face herself could fly at her father's face. That would be good to do. That was a very long-winded explanation of how a typical joke works, but hopefully you got it. So let's focus on the egg now. So the egg started here. I want to move it down here. Let's move it to the corner. Oh wait, no, not to the corner. It's flying on an arc, so we want it to be off to the right. There we go. And where it ends up, it's going to end up. So let's move it here so that you have a better idea. It's going to end up right on the nose, just like before. And then we have the explosion. Perfect. Right there on the nose. Now, it's flying at an arc here. So I'm going to alter the angle. Not like that. There we go. Alter the angle. Let's see. And there we go. Okay. So the egg's flying there. Perfect. That's the angle that I want. Look at that. That's great. That's beautiful right there. And then right here is where the explosion happens. Now I might want to move this event a little further to the left. Let's do it. Let's just take a look. Didn't appear. That's okay. Again, sometimes the Vegas will take its jolly old time, but let's see. There we go. There we go. Just like that. And you get to hear that glorious sound over and over again. All right. Actually, I'll make it perfect. Okay. So let's close these up. Just make them a little bit shorter. And we can add the explosion again, the same explosion from last time. Actually, I only need to close up. Actually, no, I should keep them all. All right, insert a new layer. explosion's happening here a little too soon. But on impact, boom. Literally boom. And we can have these events go on a little bit longer. And then the explosion is done. Please have his entire head be black except for the eyes after this. Might as well at this point. Or better yet. Oh. Hold the phone. A skeleton head. Skeleton head. Alright, so let's look for a skeleton head here. And I want one that's going to, let's see. Ooh, this is a good one. This is a good one. Oh, this is a funny skeleton head. Rice Snot would be proud. Let's just name it as skull, as it's called. Not skeleton head, but skull. Skulls, which mean bad medicine. This is what I've pulled. So her head is going to be replaced. His head is going to be replaced by this skull for the third iteration of things flying at him and exploding. Now we need to cut this out, which means we've got to use our masking tool for this. And when it comes to masking, I mean, personally, this is one of the parts about making YouTube hoops that's a little bit more of a chore to me, because with sentence mixing, like, you know right off the bat, you can hear things. You'll hear whether or not they work, you can hear whether or not it fits. With masking, it tends to be very time consuming because you have to kind of draw, but you're not drawing using a pen and paper or a tablet. I mean, if you have a tablet, it's probably loads easier, but rather you're using anchor points. And anchor points, you'll get used to them, but gosh darn, you do sometimes wish that your computer had a touch screen so that it could be a hell of a lot easier. Because there are different jagged edges to this skull. You've got different side surfaces. You got to make sure that the rounding is fine, perfect. And again, all that just to remove it from the background. And I could have used the magic wand tool for this, but that's okay. This is what we got. Excellent. So let me do one last thing. So if I were to superimpose this over the father's head for whatever is coming, let's take a look here. I need to make the skull a little bigger. Probably have to angle it down. That's a funny skull. That is a funny skull. He becomes Skeletor. Kinda. There we go. So now we have this skull that's on him, but what comes out? I thought of the face flying right at him, but to make that happen, let's see. For Velma's face to fly at him, I feel like there needs to be like a background of some sort, because if I were to take that head, almost like a floating head, and it just shoots right off his face, we're going to be left with a giant black spot in the background where the head used to be. Like if you were to cut something out from a piece of paper, you have the cutout, but I want that cutout to be filled. Now, Photopea, I'm guessing that they've got some tools for this. I'm probably I'm gonna save this for later. I'm gonna do this another time because we have about 15 minutes left scheduled in the stream. And all I've done is Velma. That's interesting. You know, when I initially started this thing, I did not think that I was going to stay on Velma for this long, because usually when I make YouTube Hoops, I pivot from, video to video. I'm working on multiple videos at once here. So, I mean, what I've got in the pipeline, that's going to be fun. I might show you I might do something else on a different time. But for now, let's see, 15 minutes. I've written down a couple of things. Assemble. Okay. Let's focus on the sentence mix that I wanted earlier. We're going to take the assemble. Let's see. No, that's the roach fuck. Let's see. Assemble. Here we go. This is what I want. So we're just going to try and complete this sentence mix. That'll probably be the last thing that we do in this stream, and then we can pick things up another time, or we can do a different video another time. There are going to be tons of things that we can do. I'm glad that you all joined me today. I really am. I hope you enjoyed yourselves, and I hope you're going to enjoy yourselves for the final dozen minutes or so. So let's listen to this. Just going to make sure the volume is there. Yes.
Revenge.
Yes. So a little bit of how I sentence mix. I'm just going to remove the video part because all I need here is the audio.
Revenge.
There we go. Now, the word here is revengey, but we can make it into avenger. Now, the way that we do that is first, we take the part that sounds the most like avenger, which is
Revenge.
avenge. We're going to soften its entrance, and when I say soften the entrance, so I'm going to zoom in so you can see a little bit here. You'll see this little blue, now white wave. If I were to click away from it, it's blue. What it's doing is it's keeping the volume low at the start of the clip, but it's gradually increasing to the desired volume level at the end. Now, why am I doing this? Because it's going to make the audio clip sound a lot better if you have a softer opening. So in music theory, for example, you have what's called staccato, and then you have legato. Staccato means that something's very punchy. So if something's punchy, it's almost like you're blowing a horn, but it's that toot, just that very strong toot. If it's legato, I mean, the name itself kind of goes into what it is. Legato. It's a very soft opening and closing, so it's almost like toot. Instead of toot, which is punchy, toot is going to be softer from the beginning and softer at the end. As for videos, last thing we do, looks like I joined the stream at the very last time. That's all right. That's all right. I do want to do more of these, so if you enjoyed it, that's wonderful. And in regards to the background, perhaps use the face of the guy who's half invisible from the Hollow Man. I'll have to look that. I have to look up what that is. All right. Mirror the background up till where Velma is on the frame. Yeah, I could definitely mirror that. Kind of going back to that, what we were talking about before. It was awesome talking about the oldies. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Absolutely. Hard consonants are funny. Patrice O'Neill. Yeah, well, I think anything, like, I've heard of that quote before, but I think that, it's really going to depend on the context every single time. I need to offer college courses on YouTube poopology. Stay tuned for that. That's where I'm going to leave it. Stay tuned. Sorry I couldn't say the whole time, but what I saw was enjoyable and insightful, hearing about the process and how well spoken you are about it. Best luck going forward. Thank you very much, Mr. Triangle World. Thank you very much. Glad you got something out of it. So, But yeah, the reason why I want a legato instead of a staccato here is because there are some remnants of the prior consonant sound that are there. There's going to be a little hint of that R from revenge, and I don't want that. I want that in avenge. But at the same time, I don't want that soft A sound to be diminished in any way. So that's how we compromise.
Revenge.
Yep. You have very little of that R, and you still have that A.
Revenge.
Now, let's go back to the transcript. There are probably multiple instances where Velma has an at the end, an ER at the end. If I hit Control F and then enter ER space, yeah, in this whole script there are like 96 instances. Now, I want to find something that was spoken by Velma. And the thing about the transcript that I pulled is that it doesn't tell you which character said it. It's actually just pulling up the entire dialogue. Doesn't tell you whether it's Velma saying it. Doesn't tell you whether it's the father, Daphne, Fred, anybody. But the thing is that I've seen the episode enough. Yes, I have rewatched it. I don't know how my eyes are still here. I have seen enough of it to know that this quote was said by somebody. That's one thing you should definitely do. Even though you have a transcript in front of you that you can utilize, it's best to know the source a little more inside and out. So rewatch it every now and again, like rewatch it so you have some parts memorized. You don't have to have the whole thing memorized. You don't have to watch it 100 times over. Then it just becomes tedious. But maybe if you are, let's just say that you're driving, for example, and you want to save the audio and play it while you're in the car. You can do that. You can even have headphones on maybe as you're walking a dog or doing something else. Whatever you choose. But always keep the audio of the thing in mind. Always keep the source in mind. Try to collect whatever you remember. That's what I did for Game On Part 2. That episode, actually, the episode that I used for Game On Part 2, which I think was episode 60 or 80 or something like that, I had started rewatching it way back in the early 2010s because I did have a sequel to Game On planned. I was going to use that episode, but I was working on other things at the time. So I did know a lot of the dialogue and the scenes very early on. And also, again, I mentioned Mulan. I watched Mulan over and over again when I was a child, so I knew a little bit of the script right there as well. So try to remember as ingrain in your brain as much of the source as you can. That's why it's easier to use sources that you're a lot more familiar with. Velma obviously just came out, but I've seen the episode time and time again. So let's see. I want to go for an ER sound. And you know what? One thing I was always also thinking of doing is checking out, because if memory serves, it's Mindy Kaling that does the voice for Velma in this show. So since Mindy Kaling doesn't always change her voices in the shows that she's in, then you can probably look at some other shows that she's been in. I think the Mindy Project might be the primary one to fall back on. But also be mindful that the show's audio is also going to be very different. A voice-acted show will have different audio than a live-action show. That's why it tends to be a lot easier to put video games and animated projects rather than live-action products, because the studio engineer would have removed a lot of the background sound, but in a live-action show, that background sound is ambiance. Okay. Let's see. And I'm just searching for a good example of an ER sound. Keep it up, love from Italy. Thank you so much, Tommaso. AP Scatology, yes. Sorry to hear you watched the show many times. I only seen the first episode so many times. I have not watched episode 2 beyond. I have no desire to do so. The show didn't hook me from episode 1. That's Mindy Kaling? Yes, knew it. Excellent. Okay, let's see. I just Okay, perfect. There is an instance of her using it. It's in the word locker. It's very early on in the episode. And this is why it's so much easier when you're working on YouTube, sources from YouTube, because the transcript on YouTube is timestamped. So let's go here. I can't believe I'm actually, this is the shower scene that I mentioned earlier. It's got the teenage girls that are naked. I don't want to show this for too long. All I want to look for is her instance of using locker. It'll actually be right over here. Let's see.
You climb in my locker to...
There we go. Now let's see if this works.
Locker to...
There is an ER sound right here. But it's mixed in with a very, she speaks very quickly here. I wonder if the ta is going to mix in well. Let's find out. And that's the thing about sentence mixing. Sometimes it might not work. Sometimes you're going to spend a lot of time on a second. Just 1 second. See how it sounds. And we'll make adjustments as we go.
Revenge.
Nope. Hang on. Man, she speaks so quickly that the sound, it's almost not an sound. It's just an sound. Like she's saying laka instead of locker.
Revenge.
That ain't going to work. The speed at which she's speaking is too different. That's okay. Let's look for something else. Over. Oh, wait, hold the phone. No, wait. No, that ain't going to work. Actually, I think, hold the phone. I think we've got one. What about your? Your could work. It's elongated. It'll be elongated enough, yeah. To your point, there's an amazing set of YouTube clips that are George Carlin narrating Thomas the Tank Engine interspersed with his stand-up clips. Yes. Oh, man, it's hard to believe that George Carlin, of all people, did the Thomas narration. You should go for sources that you feel strongly about, whether you love or despise it. Yes. If you only saw the first episode, guess what I heard about the show is true. Yep. I mean, I think so many people just watched that first episode just to see what all the hullabaloo was about. So I want to take a look at one more ER sound, and then I'll switch it up and see if we can find your. And the place, this is the scene where she's being interrogated by the 2 cops, and she is being pressed.
Because of your hairy gorilla arm.
No, because I hate your stupid.
Let's try this out. It's all trial and error here, and if it doesn't work, then I'll see what we can find with your, and it's 4 o'clock. So I'll do this one last thing. Let's see. Avenger. I want Avenger. Nope. Pitch is too high. Pitch is way too high. I'm a stickler for these things. So if the pitch is too high, let's look for an instance of your. I think maybe she does say your at the very beginning of the show. No, she does not. Darn it. But maybe she says, like the opening narration to this show, where I've spliced it to say orgy. A lot of that is very monotone. So we might be able to pull something off here. So to remedy this, I've decided to finally share the bone-chilling events that drove me to assemble the greatest team of smoothness solvers. No, that's I've heard that. That's being spoken too quick. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Murder. Duh. Oh, my gosh. Oh, man, I hate it when that happens. When it's right there in front of you. You were missing it all this time.
More power. Usually like, hey, what made assemble the greatest team? This is my story, told my way.
And it all starts with a murder.
And it starts with a murder. Murder.
Oh gosh, why does that have to gleam like that? Well, let's just see. Let's see how this sounds. And if not, we'll go from there. Remove the D.
Then.
So we can get a stronger G.
Revenge.
Ah, darn it. Oh well. Well, we gotta find that hard R sound somewhere, and she will say it. It's just a matter of finding it. So, I think we'll leave it at that for today. She does often pronounce it "yer," so that could work, yeah. What I hate about sentence mixing is the word "r." It seems to be mixed too mixed with the words before and after. People never say "r" alone. That's right. I mean, the thing about sentence mixing that's so tricky is that dialects are always going to be different between people. So what some people pronounce as a hard consonant, other people are going to keep it as a soft consonant. Sometimes the accent is so strong that it can ruin what you thought might be a perfectly good sentence mix. And that's going to happen more often than not. I think that's what makes the CDI clips so wonderful for sentence mixing, because they're speaking slower, because they have to speak to a player here, and they have to make sure that the player understands everything. So, like, dear pesky plumbers, even the note. And man, I think that's also because once you are listening to that clip, watching that scene, if it's instructional or if they're giving a hint, they need to make sure that the player registers it. So all of that is probably what makes CDI so great. Also, the fact that the background music is so soft that it doesn't interfere. There are very few sound effects. And the sound effects, when they do happen, they're not layered on top of the dialogue. Man, CDI is just perfect for YouTube poop. All right, so we've got a lot done today. We did a lot. This is a work in progress, but I'm pretty gosh darn proud of the egg effects, the mouths flying off. I'm glad that you were all there to work on this with me. I loved your input, and don't worry if you didn't get a chance to see your idea come to life. I've got it right here. I'm going to attempt it. Well, I think that's where we'll end things for today. Next stream, we'll find out when the next stream is. It's going to be, I guess, depending on what time I can set aside. But this was a hell of a lot of fun. Guys, thank you so much for joining me here today. And look forward to what I've got in the pipeline. Velma, if it's not the next video that I finish, it will be one of the next videos that I finish. So, take it easy, everyone. Enjoy your days. Enjoy your weekends. If you're watching the Super Bowl, see if you can place your bets. Can you play it? Yeah, I'll see if I can play it. It's probably not going to be completely clean here, but I'll tell you what. I'll render it, and then I'll play the render. So let me just see how it looks first.
Excuse?
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to render it. No poblano. And then I'll put it into the timeline. And I'll also work on the cool little rendering trick from that we discussed earlier. Sample. Let's just do sample for now. This will take almost no time at all. It's going to render this for me, and then I'll put it into the timeline so that you can see it for yourself. This mouth effect layered with the explosion. Now, we didn't we didn't finalize everything, but you can kind of see the progress that has been made. So it's almost complete. 86, 87, and there we go. And if it doesn't look right, that's okay. We can fix it. And that's the beauty of this. What we're making, what makes it so different from other types of creations is that if you put a paint on an easel or a paint on a canvas, so to say, it's there. But what you make here, you can edit it as you like. You could change it as you like. So let's go to the finished product. I just entitled it sample. Pull it up. Okay. And here we go. This is what it will look like. Oh, this is what it looks like right now.
Excuse me? Excuse me?
We're going to add more sound effects. We're going to do some more cleanup here. And this will look even better. Probably replace the explosions. Probably replace some of the sound effects. We'll see. But all of that, thank you so much for your input, guys. I mean, these are wonderful ideas. The egg shot, oh, we got to do the schlep. We've got to do the schlep. It will be added. Man, so many things that we got to do it. All right, in the flesh or the streaming setup. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining. Enjoy the weekend.